I'm not going to let you sit there for another 30 seconds. We've just been talking comics behind, yeah, talking some Spider-Man. But yeah, I think somebody trying to call me. I don't know why.
He's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, therefore I am.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah.
up, YouTubers?
I
Internet
had
land.
with these in my ears, I had to say, "Is my phone ringing? And why is my phone ringing?" Uh,
This is just my ears ringing.
yeah, and hopefully there wasn't another death in the family or something. I'll get it
Dude,
out in the
I had
show.
a moment like that last week where I was walking through a parking lot and I heard this. It's just this one, like a pitch squeal. I'm like, is it really there, or are my
Mhm.
ears just ringing?
Now, Josh, I got to call you out. What the heck happened to your X-Men, or is that it? The X-Men poster
No, that's
still
it.
there?
Yeah, that's still my
Okay.
X-Men poster. It's just got a lot
Is
of
that
other
Art
stuff
Adams?
there.
Who did the artwork on
Yeah,
that?
it
I
is.
forget.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the same one, the same Art Adams, and then there's just more crap up there now. There's a
Okay.
Batmobile up there now. There's a Godzilla up there now, and a Gundam that I brought back from Tokyo.
Wow. Oh. So when did you go to Tokyo? Tell us about that.
I went back in April. That was my second time going. I love it. I'd live there if I could. It's the best city in the world. Yeah, I was back in April, and then I'm heading back again in 27 in January 27.
Why
So
Tokyo?
yeah, we do mission trips there. So we're partnered with a church there
Oh,
in
that's
the
right.
heart of Tokyo, a very small
Mhm.
church, and we go down there and work. I took my wife, my head pastor and his wife, a couple that we knew from Sumter, South Carolina, and then three of my teenagers from the youth group, and we went and spent 10 days there. It was awesome. What's
Kelsey
up,
popping
Walter?
in. He might not be able to stay for the whole interview, but
That's
yeah,
all good.
you're Josh is the writer for Godfoe. God,
Artist. Dan's the writer. I'm the artist.
oh, did I say writer? I meant to say
Yeah,
artist,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
I knew that. I knew he was the writer and you were the artist. I just said it wrong.
I got you.
Um,
It's okay. We I would say we both do a little bit of everything, but he does not do any art. So I
right.
can't do that. I do some writing. He doesn't do any art.
Well, now does he? I mean, he totally trusts you. I get that, but now does
Oh
he?
yeah.
I've got this in my head, and here's a little
He
stick
did.
figure. Huh?
He did on our first book. He would send me these
Mm-hmm.
little doodle things, and I would ignore them. And like I gave him enough grief about it after that first one. He's like, I'm just gonna send you the script. And I was like,
Yeah.
that'll
It's
work.
best if he's sitting there like we are now and describing it to you, because if it's
Well, and
not, yeah, it's kind of hard
it
to.
doesn't work very well when every time you send something I have to ask, what is this? Is
Mhm.
this a person, a potato? What am I looking at?
Yeah, the way I did like the thumbnails, I did the storyboards or whatever to the Devil Flyer story and sat down with John and had him copies and I had a copy all stapled together and we went through it together so that he would know
Mhm.
what's going on. And then I left
Well,
it up to him.
We do that as well. And like we develop all the story stuff together. He bounces pages of the script off me as it's going, so that we both know where it's headed. And I'm already envisioning what I want these things to look like. And so when it gets to a fight scene or something, he'll put, you know, have them fight, have these main things happen, and then he just trusts me to take as many pages as it takes to make
Well,
that happen.
you and your compadre have been coming on. I don't know if you remember, but you've been coming on here for the last 3 years. I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
around this.
yeah. We've been hanging out with you for a while. It's awesome to be back.
I remember that you were on late December a couple years ago for the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
You and
Yep.
the Levi and JD that do Galaxy Memorial Park. We had you on. We had them on one day, and then had you on the next day, and that was toward the end of the year, getting pretty close to New Year's.
Yep.
The 27th, we're going to be celebrating 4 years of content on this channel.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
we're coming up on 4 years doing stuff, and I think we did still doing the 4 o'clock shadow every day.
Nice.
Welcome, Dan.
There's Dan. He
We've
put
been
his
late
kids
for about
down.
15 minutes talking about comics. We knew you had to put the kids up. I had to let the dog out and different stuff too. So,
All right. Who let the dog out?
yeah, who let the dog? Yeah, that's what he said. Everybody's doing pretty good, I guess. You know, I'm ready for Christmas, I suppose. I mean, I got the Santa cat
Ready to get it over with, man.
Yeah. Well, it'll be here and gone before you know it.
It will.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't believe this year is going by. I know everybody's such a cliche to say, "Oh, it's been a fast year. It went by so fast."
Mm-hmm.
But good grief, it's been a fast year. Like,
Yeah.
God dang, I can't believe we're already in December. Like halfway, almost over halfway through December is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Now, Dan, I did some writing today, right, on my sort of universe of characters and stuff, and
All right.
and I kind of had a breakthrough. Oh, this character could be, and this could be, you know, linking it all together, right? And that's why he's called, you know. But for me, it's like, in this year too, especially, I was showing behind the scenes with Josh before we got started these sketch cards that I was doing of my characters, and actually some of those characters are going to be in some of my next stories. It's like, yes, I need that character for this story, you know. So brand new characters that I've created while doing, to keep it interesting for me, I've always got to try and do something different, right? So I'm doing close to 200 sketch cards. I'm about halfway there, and I'm creating new characters, and actually some of them are slotting in very good with some of the stories that I'm going to have coming up. So, but now, how do you do it? Because you're a writer, he's the artist. Josh said that he kind of does the same thing. You know, he creates these characters and then uses them where they need to be. Do you just write all that out? Here's a new character, and we'll work out the specifics later? Or?
Sometimes, sometimes I'll think of a character. Usually my characters come from the setting that I've already made, and just thinking about the story and thinking about what it needs. I usually don't sit around and think about characters all that much, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Characters just kind of come to me as plot points, and then the world comes around them, and then the plot point I made them for usually changes to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how many things we've come up with this character for one world or one era of the universe, and then we realize, you know what, this actually fits better in this other place, and you know, it needs some adjusting, but we take the bones of one thing and turn it into something else, and it works better in that other, you know, kind of that other atmosphere.
Now, I think you already had Kolga Volume 1 out, right? Biophile Kolga.
Yep.
Volume 1 out before we met you two a couple years ago. I think, or either that or you were promoting it.
I think Apollyon. I think when we first came on, we had Apollyon 20XX Volume 1.
Yeah, I think you're right, because you have a whole timeline.
Yeah, Apollyon had come out first. Then we did the first volume of Kolga.
Okay.
And then we did the second volume of Apollyon, and now we're on volume 2 of Kolga.
So did we promote your first book?
We kind of go back and forth. Yeah.
Did we promote your first book? We did, Apollyon?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't realize
that was our first time on there with you
for
guys.
some reason, I was thinking maybe you had already had one book out, you know, but
we were already very close to finish with Kolga, so we were already talking about Kolga while we were putting out that one, and maybe that's why.
I know Dan had this whole timeline that he showed.
Yeah, we were already. I was already about halfway done with volume 1.
It's kind of like the MCU. Here's 5 years of movies that we
well, that's really literally what we planned out. And it's still that's still how it's working with us. Like we're already thinking way ahead of where we're at right now.
Yeah. Well, I always go back to what the writer of Babylon 5 said. He said, I wrote 1,000,000 years in the future and 1,000,000 years in the past, and so I knew where I'd been and where I was going, and I kind of met the story in the middle, you know. And I
That's
thought that was,
literally what we do. That's our approach to a
yeah,
T, man. Like,
yeah.
and
I'm
that's
still,
another thing. We do really love Babylon 5. I've always been impressed by how much that's a singular vision that's
Mhm.
executed from start to finish. I mean, you can argue that some of the acting was not as good or the effects weren't where they needed to be for you, but
Yeah.
the storyline is unimpeachable for that series.
Oh, absolutely. And I watched it on DVD. I never got to see it live but I was intrigued by it when it was out there. I knew it was out there, but I just never watched it when it was on whatever they had it on, whatever channel.
TNT, I think.
Was it TNT? Okay.
I
It
remember
was
on
But
TNT or
Sci-Fi.
USA. I can't remember. But I used to watch it when I'd
me,
stay at my grandma's house.
for me, the kind of psychic war, maybe the Messiah,
Oh
I guess,
yeah. That was so cool.
sort of long-haired psychic was kind of probably season 4 was the weakest for me and all that. But uh,
Yeah.
it's almost like a sports bracket. You're going to play this team and down there, and that's kind of what I'm working on now is sort of my Momentum Universe bracket. Of million years or whatever. The time thing, because I do have characters in the Old West. I've got one that's going to go back to ancient Egypt. I've got some Golden Age characters, and I've got some recent, and I'm even one of my next books after I get done with the unseen artwork of John Buscema will be Momentum Unleashed Future Visions, where all the stories are told in our future, not necessarily our future, but it could be the character's future. And I've got a story that takes place 250 years in the future. And I was working my night job when I came up with that concept for that story, and been chopping at the bit to get to it ever since. But, it takes time to develop some good stories.
Yeah.
I think the longer you chew on a thing, sometimes, if you're not overthinking it, only makes it
it
richer
does,
and better.
but then there's times when something just takes off and has a life of its own, and something huge comes out really quickly. Mm-hmm. Same thing with my balls, but like you'll have times when like it's just like a fully formed idea that it's like you just plucked it off a tree and it was waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't sit around looking for inspiration though. Inspiration when I was younger was an excuse to do nothing. I mean, action begets action, right? Writers write, artists do whatever they do, and draw, paint, whatever, carve, sculpt. I think the art of doing helps, and always recycling it in your head, and Dan's got a whole family to think of. So he's kind of got to go, okay, put that on pause and I'll get back to you later. But now, do you always carry around something to write with, Dan, in case something does come to your mind, you want to jot it down, but it's not an inconvenience?
I use my phone usually.
Do you?
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that?
I've got a bunch of notes on there that I throw things in, or Google Drive. Mm-hmm. That's where I keep most things, is in the Google Drive. And I've written. It's amazing what you'll write. Like I have pages and pages and pages of stuff that I'd forgotten I'd even written, that I had somehow just got out. And I was like, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I need to see what I have for that. And I was like, wow, I've got like 10, 20 pages of this already done. It's like I don't remember writing it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's going to be part of Kolga. That was the Biophile Codex. That's going to be about 130 page, basically book that comes with every order of Biophile Kolga. It's a big lore backstory where she's explaining parts of the Biophile initiative from things she's collected and from her firsthand accounts as well. We're just giving that to people. We'll have some art with it. It'll be a cool PDF of just prose work that goes with it. We always give people extra stuff with every campaign.
Yeah, I'm aware of it that you do. You've always done that.
Yep.
Now, before we just dive head deep, I've got a couple questions,
Mhm.
or question, and then go on from there. Uh, which you got a Kickstarter and a Fund My Comic going at the same time now. Which one launched first, or did you do it
We
all
went,
the same
yeah, they came out at the same time,
Yep.
or
same time?
right
Okay.
there at each other.
All right. Before we delve into Biophile Kolga, which is your two campaigns right now running on
Mm-hmm.
Find My Comic, and you can find the links in the description, down in the description, and in the chat. I've dropped them in the chat, and the Kickstarter link as well. Before we get into dive deep into volume 2, because this is volume 2, congratulations on that. I can't wait to get to volume 2 to my book. And I know some people I'll be happy just to get the first one. We're working on it. Let's go with volume 1. Give us a recap about what all that was about, and because that's been a couple years ago, right? Or
About a year.
not about a year ago? Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah, about
I
a
keep
year.
going back to your first
Mhm.
book.
It was last
Right.
year.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
It was last year. Yeah, go ahead.
Mhm.
Can you give that rundown, Josh? You usually give a shorter pitch than me.
Yeah, so the initial idea of Biophile Kolga is that she was a group, or she was part of a group called the Biophile Initiative. This is a group of people who are from a lot of different walks of life, but they've realized that this thing that their world calls God, that the priesthood refers to as God, that is the source of all of their electricity and power and everything else, is not actually God. Something existed before this. It's not God. And it's also being used to manipulate their minds. And so the Biophile Initiative was all about rebelling against this thing, shutting off its influence on them, and finding a way to leave this planet and get away from its influence. And ultimately, that's achieved. And she is a huge part of that. Growing up as a young person, she was a big part of the initiative. But they leave, and she's the only one that's left. As far as she knows, she's the only biophile left. And she spent her whole life standing against this thing. And so at the beginning of the first volume, we find her, she was an old woman, angry, bitter old heretic, ready to die. And she's given a brand new body. She's given a young, new life. Her body is capable of healing in ways that she can't even fully understand. And the first volume is all about her having to face this very evil entity from her past who has shown back up again. And, it introduces her, it introduces her ward, a young lady named June who lives with her and would be her heir. Eventually was intended to be her heir because she thought she was going to die. And then she also has befriended and uses as a tool a living eyeball that she found in the place where she was captured. And he is a mystery in and of himself, but he's a very powerful entity that she can use, but using him is also dangerous. And so in the cover for volume 2, you can see she has this orange eye with green flames coming out of it. She has Stu inside her head, and it makes her very powerful, but it's also a very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah. And
Dan,
this is 100 pages, the new one.
That's right.
It will be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, first volume was 100 pages. This one's 100 pages as well.
And how much is it to go on this project? How far deep into it are you?
It's essentially done. I've got a few more pages to finish, like inking and coloring, and then we'll go back through and edit everything, polish it up. But I mean, it's drawn. It just has to be, finishing touches. We're running through January, so my goal is to have all of the art finished so that we can just get to editing, and that way, when the campaign ends, like immediately, as soon as we get the money out of the campaign, it goes to the printers. And like you'll have, if you back this book, you'll have it by March.
Yep. We always try to finish our stuff before the campaign ends. We like people to get their book as quick as possible.
Yes,
Right.
delicious beef stew. Now, stew as in STU. he has to be given a name, and when he's asked, well, what do people call you, because he doesn't know what a name is, and he says, they call me Stupendous. So he's like, you can call me that. And she's like, I'm not calling you that. So they settled on calling him Stu. Stu is really funny. He's a hilarious character. He's funny right up until the moment that he's terrifying.
And you're doing the colors on this project, right? Are you doing the lettering?
Yeah, pencils, inks, color, everything.
You're doing the lettering?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. Everything.
Okay.
One trick pony, man. One trick pony.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've noticed on yours, of course, this has a very vibrant coloration to it, especially like the logo here, you know.
Well, our other book is black and white. So Apollyon is this black and white, gritty, dark thing. So I like Kolga to be really the opposite of that.
Now, I noticed you had that down here. Is this being offered on this campaign as well?
Yes, we have it. We have several different tiers, catch-up tiers. We have a catch-up tier for Kolga. You get both volumes of Kolga. We also have a full universe catch-up tier, or you can add individual books as just as individually to the campaign. But yeah, we got it as an option, both physical and digital, to catch up on everything. If anyone's new to the party, they can catch up on the whole world right away.
Well, give us a rundown of Apollyon, real quick.
Dan, it's your turn. Tag.
All right, Apollyon 20XX takes place in the very near future of where we are now. An alien metal that they call Impera metal because it can replicate itself over any biological system has fallen to Earth, and a group of power-hungry, rich elites have confiscated it, and they've been running experiments, putting it in water, in vaccines, and food, and everything, because they've realized that they can use it to control the populace. And they're building a machine with it that they call the God Machine, so to influence the minds of everyone on Earth. And they have to integrate it with a human mind. And what they have created are these people called augments, which are basically our world's mutants. They're humans that have been experimented on with Impera metal. They have escaped, and they're trying to stop the Order, which is the group of elites, from completing the God Machine and taking over.
We always describe it as a cross between Claremont era X-Men and Akira.
Yep. Very apocalyptic.
And it's, we're 2 volumes in now. Volume 3 will be coming after we finish Kolga and get it out to people. So that's the next project will be volume 3 of Apollyon.
Yeah, at this point,
it's going to start getting very end of the world, large scale apocalypse in the next volumes.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you got a timeline. You got Kolga here. You got Apollyon. Is there a third title?
There's
lots of titles.
There's a ton of titles. So Apollyon's at the beginning of our timeline. It's essentially the story of how our world as we know it ends and what becomes the Godfoe universe begins. So Apollyon's at the beginning. There's several events on the timeline that you'll see eventually.
Different time
segments. Hundreds of years, decades, however much. And by the time you get to Kolga, the Biophile era is 1,000 years removed from Apollyon. So everything that happened in Apollyon is literally ancient history and myth to Kolga. By her time, they don't even know about fully understand what happened in their past. But it's all the same world, all the same rules apply. They understand those things as magic because it's sufficiently advanced beyond what they can comprehend. But as we finish up Kolga, as we finish up Apollyon, we're gonna come back in and start doing. We've got a series called Blitz Beast that's a spinoff of Apollyon because he's a character we introduced in Volume 2. We're gonna tell his backstory as a spinoff. We have the War of Angels, which we'll eventually share in some format. We have
our novel.
We have the novel. The Black Star is at the end of the timeline. The Black Star are going to be full novels. We got the first one already fully written, and that's coming out next year. And it's just a prose novel.
Y'all are doing thick books. I mean,
it's how many words roughly?
90,000. The prose is 90,000, so about 300 pages.
Yeah, it's a full novel. That's coming out again next year. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we'll be able to start pushing and releasing the video game, which is a prequel to Biophile Kolga. It's got basically one level left for Dan to create, and then we're going to go through, polish it up, do beta testing, figure out deployment for it. So hopefully, by the end of next year, the video game will be available for people. But the Black Star novels tell the end of the timeline, how all of this story ends. And we've made it to where you can read Kolga in a vacuum and enjoy it for itself. You can read Apollyon without reading Kolga. But if you read everything, you get a much larger connected story. You don't have to have one without the other, but it does tell a larger story if you read everything. So, we've tried to make it where it's easy to jump in anywhere. But if you read everything, especially as we get into later volumes, if you do read everything, you get a much more complete story and a much more complete look at the world.
Now, where are you getting your printing work? Do you have a local printer?
We print through Mixam. Okay. I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but Mixam, however they pronounce it. But we've used them and we've been very happy with them. Their turnover is quick. The product is really high quality.
Is that a slick stock? It looked like a fairly matte stock that you're using.
Which one is it, Josh?
The Apollyon and Kolga are both a pretty matte finish. We don't really like the glossy look very much.
Yeah, I don't either.
Makes it harder to see.
Yeah.
Josh's colors also look better this way. That gloss.
Yeah, they just pop really. They really pop on that. Mm-hmm. And you can tell their Kolga is digest size. It's more of the manga size.
Oh, okay.
Which allows it to be, for one, we're able to sell them for a little cheaper, which is a benefit to our backers. But it also, there's a lot of people that enjoy manga, so we're kind of capitalizing.
Oh, absolutely. So this one's a little bit bigger, right? Apollyon.
Yeah. So Apollyon is a traditional, comic book trade paperback size.
And what's the page count on Apollyon? Just to
the first one is 180 pages.
Yeah, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy.
The second one is 100 pages.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, insane page counts. I don't know how you do it. 180. It's blew me away when we first talked about it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, so this is Apollyon 2. This is 100 pages.
Sometimes, Dan, I think you could write a sequel to Dune.
I'd love to. I'd probably do it better than Brian Herbert did.
Yeah.
Josh's art is immaculate. It's amazing. And I don't know. We kind of like this style, Josh, especially with Kolga. Kind of uses what would you say, like more kind of flat colors instead of the more modern colors. Josh, am I saying that correctly?
I'm not sure what you're getting at, but I'll say sure.
A lot of digital colors just kind of look like the sunset. You tend to
it's not very. I try to lean away from the pastel. Yeah. It's more of a neon.
I think the word he's looking for is diffused.
Yeah. I very much lean into highly saturated, very neon type colors. It just seems to fit her world very well.
Well, especially with the neon type stuff. I've even seen that in Batman, where you kind of go to that sort of neon look for futuristic type stories, right? Which all yours are kind of told. Yeah. All right. Well, let's watch the trailer and get a better handle on this book. You know what? I think I'm going to take it. I think I'm going to play it on. I think I'm actually going to play it on Fund My Comic. That way I can make it even bigger for people.
That'll work.
I don't think on Kickstarter that you can actually enlarge it.
Whatever works, man.
Yeah. And plus, we kind of looked at your support over there, which is going really well. And over here on Fund My Comic, we have 2 backers, but that's we definitely trying to get some more here. But 18% there it's going to come out regardless. 43 days to go. So January 31st, like you said, end of January.
And we, the more as we hit these, we'll go into stretch goals and offer more incentives and more cool stuff. Like we're just going to give you more and more cool stuff. So,
all right, here we go. Crank it. Yeah. Wow. Now, are you guys going to be doing some conventions to further promote this?
Oh yeah, we won't be able to do one during the time that the book is funding, but we're definitely going to hit the ground running when the new year, get to as many shows and cons as possible, and just be. And the fun thing, the thing we love about doing signings and conventions and stuff is we'll set up all our TVs. We'll have like the short films going, and we'll have TVs and controllers set up so people can play the game demo, and like it's always so much fun. The game brings a lot of people to the table, and then they see, oh, there's all these books, and it's always fun. So yeah, we're definitely going to be on the.
Now the game is not out, but you've been promoting that.
We have we have a very fun, very playable demo. So we have it running on a couple of screens every table.
But I mean, available to buy.
No, not yet.
That's
in about a year.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably about a year out, and that's going to be a prequel to Kolga, and it's a lot of fun. It's hard, but in a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever ones we can get lined up for, man.
Whatever ones we can get on.
Certainly East Coast.
Yeah, very
Southeast.
East. 2D Con, I'll look it up.
2D's nuts con.
Mm-hmm. It's good to see artists to draw stuff. Welcome to the channel.
Minnesota.
Artist.
You're not sub and hit that like button.
I could drive to Minnesota.
Yeah.
I've driven there before.
But no, we definitely we're looking forward to hitting as many cons as we can in the year. That's going to be a big focus for us. We've got so much material out now, and honestly, we're going to keep going. Like I'm rolling right into the next book. I'm not going to stop drawing, but we've got enough stuff now that we can get out in front of people and have a lot to offer people at our table, and a lot that's coming. Again, sometime next year, hopefully as soon as possible, we'll have the novel on the table for people too. And that's exciting. That's a whole different audience that loves novels, So, we're just excited. We've worked really hard to get so much done. And now that it's finished and it's created and there's more coming, we're excited. And I think the more people that we can bring in and have them see the vision for this world, this universe we've created, I think people are going to get on board. And, we've already got some people that are collaborating and working on things that are going to be released in our world, just fan work that's going to be canon. And, we want to continue doing that as much as possible. We just want to create cool stuff that people can react to and enjoy and participate in. It's just been a really rewarding thing to be a part of. It's so exciting, and we stay out of all the drama. We don't get involved in any of the online nonsense. We just keep our heads down and work, and it's starting to pay off.
Now, are you guys putting anything up on YouTube on your channels?
Oh yeah, we've been regularly having people on our channel, our show. We've had Dan, you've had Doug Ernst on a few times. Who else have you had? We've had several people on.
B.A. Turner, we've had on before. I think a lot of people know him. I have a kind of routine show I do with Brody, who's a guy who works with us and does some writing with us and for us and some art. We talk philosophy, religion, and that kind of stuff with his friend JoJo on there. We have a series we're doing there. We're planning a longer series called The Remystification of Art in the World, which should be, we're hoping to be like an 8-hour like big thing that we break into pieces. We do whatever interests us, honestly. We have short films on there. We throw our trailers, and we're going to do, we have an audio series we started called ZZZEDZ.exe that people can search and listen to. Episode 1 of that is up. We're working on some other stuff. Like, I don't know, we have such a big well of influence and enjoy so many things. We don't like the idea of just limiting to one thing. Whatever's interests us on YouTube, we put up there. We'll hang out with people, we'll do comics, we'll talk deeper topics, and then we'll post our art on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We also have a Discord. It's not like a super busy thing, but we do have a Discord that we enjoy having, the people that do interact, we've had a good time with.
Yep. I'll put a link to that in the chat.
We
Cyber
call
Neon
this
Drip Funk.
neon drip funk.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I'll call it whatever you want as long as you'll buy it.
It's a
Check out
it's just,
Artists to Draw Stuff YouTube channel. Here's his YouTube channel. Subscribe to him just like I did.
nice.
If you like his
Yeah, I'll do
content.
that in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah.
kind of just real quick, let people know how much stuff they're getting if they get the bundle. If they do the catch up tier, how much are they getting and for how much money? Because that's something I think people don't really realize.
Yeah,
Look.
The catch-up tier for Kolga 2, the Godfoe Universe catch-up tier is $60,
Right.
and shipping. And what you're getting is Apollyon 1, Apollyon 2, Kolga 1, and Kolga 2. So that is about 4, almost 500 pages. So that'd be Apollyon 1, Apollyon 2, Kolga 1, and then Kolga 2. So you're getting 4 books, about 500 pages for $60. And you'll get the PDFs. Yeah, you'll get the PDFs, of course, that go with it, the digital PDFs. You'll also get the Codex, the Biophile Codex, Book 1, which is going to be 100 to 130 pages, and it's all just, it's Kolga retelling the events of the initiative, basically, and giving credence and honor to the people and the men that died helping her do it. That's going to be about 4 books when I'm done with it. And those will be just like when you buy this, you get that for free as a PDF. We'll probably be giving away a free poster if you scroll to the bottom, especially if we meet the $1,000 goal. It's the Kill Your Thoughts poster at the very bottom there.
Yeah,
we just love. Yep. Mm-hmm. We usually try to surprise people. We'll throw in stickers or something if we can. Like, life's too short, man. Like, we don't do this. I mean, money's nice. We don't do it for money. We do it for art, and we do it for love. And Josh and I are both Christians, and we believe in an objective truth and goodness. And the world sucks, and it needs to not suck as much.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, when you realize you're getting well over, with all the extra peripheral stuff, you're getting well over 600-700 pages for $60.
Oh yeah, and you'll get the Apollyon 20XX Apocrypha stuff, which is another 200-300 pages, and that's free to read on our website. But we'll give the PDFs away for free as well.
And even if you just do the Kolga catch up tier, if you just want to catch up on Kolga, you're still getting 200 pages of comic plus the big codex. It's an incredible amount of money of book for a small amount of money.
Yep.
And it's not about us saying, oh, our book isn't worth it. It's just we've tried to keep prices as low as possible and as affordable as possible, where we can still make a profit that helps us, but also we want to give you a lot of stuff. And I will say this campaign might be the last time we can do the universe catch-up tier. at least the way it is. We are very close to sold out of volume 1 of Apollyon.
Mhm.
And if we do, when we go to a second printing, we're going to do a whole different cover. And like, so the original first printing of that is only going to be available this campaign.
Yeah.
And it's also going to reach the point where it's just too much stuff.
Yeah, just too much
Shipping
to ship.
will get out. Yeah, it's going to reach the point where it's too much to ship. So after this campaign,
Yeah,
you may not ever have another chance to do the catch-up tiers. We might not be able to offer that. Now, at conventions, we can offer, some bundles, but this may be the last time that you have an opportunity to get this much stuff for this price.
Yeah, and it'll go to our website, of course, but everything gets more expensive once it's off the Kickstarter. Like, we do special deals price-wise for Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic for campaigns. Once it goes to our website, the price goes up because we can only charge so much,
Yeah.
We also for the people who signed up early, and then follow through with backing the book. If they signed up for the pre-launch and then follow through, they also are getting. I had a Batman drawing that went crazy viral, like 450K views on Twitter about a month or so ago, and we're giving prints of that Batman, that absolute Batman picture is going to be going to some people who backed it. Who also did the pre-launch. And that may be something that later on, if we go into our stretch goals, we may be able to offer that as a picture as well, or as a reward as well.
Yep.
Do you guys?
And we're also working on figures. So, I'm this close to having a really good 3D printed Kolga figures. We're in the process of figuring that out.
Now, do you guys mind if I share your Discord link?
Yeah, go for it.
No, go for it.
We share like inspirations behind the stuff. We share behind the scenes stuff. I mean, it's pretty low key, but I mean, if anyone wants to join, come on in. Like, we just like hanging out and talking art.
Yeah, and that's a good place if people have questions or you just want to know more about the lore. If you read the books and you say, hey, I saw this and I'm wondering what this means, that this looks like it's more significant than, we'd love to talk that stuff with you. Like, a lot of people are lore hounds and just love to dig into. If you're the type of person that you love Lord of the Rings, but you also love the 6 volumes worth of however many volumes worth of appendixes where he was showing all the different lore behind the different, if that's your stuff, you love digging into that. You're going to love the codex that we give you with Kolga, because it's just this world. What we give you in the books is satisfying, but it's the tip of the iceberg of how much we've actually created and written and figured out.
Yeah, I've always kind of gotten that vibe from you guys for the last couple of years, is that, we got more coming, and you
there's so much. And there's so much. Even when Kolga ends, after Kolga ends, we've also got a series already mapped out that's going to follow. Her Ward June has her own series that'll be taking up after Kolga. We have at least 4 novels that are going to be coming out, maybe 5 of the Black Star. That's probably going to be 4 or 5 novels. We've got a time period.
One thing that I would like to see, within this sort of YouTube group, right, that does comics and stuff, are audio books. I think, I think that's the
Biophile initiative. We're working on a way to do something that's a combination of a full-cast audio drama, like a dramatized audio radio show, essentially, that's also kind of partly an anime. Like a mixture of the two. We're working on how to do that, but we've got a plan for how to explore some of the characters from the Biophile initiative that are mentioned in the codex, that are in the background of Kolga's life, as an audio drama / animation. We're just working on how to make that happen, but that's definitely something that we'd love to do. And as far as an audio book, I don't know, that somewhere down the line that would be really cool. Particularly
I think some of the independent enthusiasm for independent comics has been lost through the drama.
It's hard not to. It's hard
Yeah.
not to lose interest.
Well,
Yeah,
That
and
it's the drama, and then also the nonsense of like I back a book and then I wait a year and a half and it's still not out, or maybe
Yeah.
I
or
get my
someone
money
runs off
back
with
and it
money.
never comes out,
Mhm.
or
Yeah,
they run
and-
out of money and they don't finish it, or I get one book and I really like it, but am I going to get a volume 2 or an issue 2? Maybe I will,
Right.
maybe I won't. I think
Yeah,
that
and
people love the idea of indie comics.
it's
They
hard
love the idea of that freedom.
to sustain that over a period of time too. When you have a loose
It really
configuration.
is. It
Yeah,
really is. And you
creative.
get these personalities that rise to the top.
Mhm.
And those personalities are not the same thing as a good book.
And also they're fallible. They're people. They're going to let you
Yeah,
down
they're human.
eventually.
Yep.
So you end up with these cults of personality
Mhm.
versus actually having really good books that have
Yeah,
good
and you
art.
got this group
get
over
these
here,
phoned
and you
in
got this group over
things.
there, and you go.
And they don't like
You're
each
not
other. And
coming
it's just
together. You're being divided, and that's we know what happens to a house that's divided.
absolutely. And
Now,
Sedan and I,
with
like,
that
we'll talk to
said, I
anybody.
think the indie market is still where all the momentum, no pun intended, is.
Well, it's
right
still better. You're still mostly going to get better books than what you get from the big big two, because
Mhm.
people do still have passion and care. But I think people like the idea of that being the Wild West of comics, and there's no, I don't know, you get a lot more daring, bold stuff, but then you also get a lot of smut, and you get a lot of
Slop.
phoned in crap.
Right.
And our job is not to stand around and point fingers at somebody else, although we don't mind doing that if it's necessary or if somebody provokes us. But
Right.
like, we'll talk to anybody. We're not going to kiss anybody's ring, but we'll talk to anybody. But I think we're trying to stand out by just having consistent, good output that's heading somewhere. That's and we're just consistently putting it out.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I think we're starting to reach a point where people realize, hey, those Godfoe boys, they're actually sticking to their guns and doing what they said they'd do.
Yeah.
When we tell you that this book is going to be in your hands in March, it's going to be in your hands in March.
Now, have you? Yeah, I was going to ask you what was the turnaround on printing with Mix'em. I guess it depends on your print run, how much, but they're pretty quick turnaround, aren't they?
They're fast. They're really fast.
Yeah.
We've
I
been
think
really happy
7
with them.
days to a week it's been for us, but again, we're not doing massive warehouse.
Yeah, we're not
prints,
doing
but still.
huge
Right.
print.
Yeah, but you do overprint for the next campaign too, right? So that you can add up kit.
Oh yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course we do. But we don't. I don't need 3,000 of them.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'm not going to sell that many. So
Right.
like when we reach a point where we need more, we order more. And they keep it on. It's in their database. You just say, hey, print again, and they will.
Now, is this? I mean, pretty much print on demand. But now But now, if you go to a second printing, you're going to make it look different, right? I mean, a lot of people are like,
yeah, it's going to second printings are going to have different covers.
Yeah.
I think that's really, that kind of, it validates the original printing and makes it special.
Yeah.
And it's also gives something, some people like, people will buy both covers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's some people that would love
Sure.
to have
and
the same book and just have a new cover.
I got Aaron Lepresti's Wraith of God second printing of #1 when I ordered his #2. And gosh, the second printings of #1 with a new cover are probably rarer than the first printing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, because
really.
you might not get as many. You may only do a small run of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everybody's bought the first printing of it, So I was
you don't need
proud to get a
quite as
second
many.
printing. Sometimes second and third, fourth printings are worth more than the first, volume. But by and large, the first ones are going to be the ones that retain the most value.
Right, and which is again why when we do go back to the printers for Apollyon Volume 1, it's going to be a completely different cover.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know with mine, I try and, there's the collector side of me, and there's also the readership side of me, and then there's the artist writer side of me. But so I got 3 sides. I'm a pyramid. But
Are you a pyramid scheme, Rex?
Yeah. Well, even the Pyramid of Giza is like 8-sided if you look at it right. It's actually got 8 sides. It is a wonder. Who built it? I doubt it was aliens. But us humans have always been kind of ingenuitive. Yeah, I think usually I ask, where do you see comics in 5 years? But and I guess I can ask that just generally. When specifically talking about the Godfoe universe, I think I need to say, where do you see your company being in 10 years? And extend it by 5 years, because you already got the next 5 years mapped out.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. By that point, Dan, I would say our main titles that we're doing now, Apollyon and Kolga, will probably be finished by then.
Yeah, we'd still have them as sandboxes we could play in, like the eras.
The eras would still be there, but
the books
those
would be
series
done.
would have reached their end.
Yeah, we'll be working on something called Blitz Beast, the prose novels. We've got several comics, comic ideas, and in 5 years we'll have more. That's the thing, is like we're always getting ideas for comics and other things. And I mean, I wanted to do a children's book. We wanted to do like a more children, boy and girl, like aimed comics as well, or mini comics or manga. I mean, what else is there, man? Like I can only watch so much Netflix.
We've also got it's on our timeline. There's an era called the Time of the Great Kings. And it's a very important and very crucial piece of our lore that we hint at in volume 2 of Kolga. Like, we get a glimpse of that era in volume 2 of Kolga. But at some point, maybe even in the next year or so, I'm wanting to write that, because that era feels very Game of Thrones type fantasy, Frank Frazetta pulpy fantasy style. So I'm going to write a series of books that tell that timeline of the Great Kings, that era of our storyline, and I'm going to release those as kind of pulpy fantasy paperback novels.
He's trying to take
very
your job,
kind of
Dan.
Frank Frazetta
telling you he doesn't need you anymore.
Josh is a great writer.
No, absolutely not. But that's going to be where I get a chance to do some writing. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. I think we're trying to offer a bunch of things in our universe that hopefully something in this universe is your gateway. And then when you enjoy it, you want to have more of this universe. And you realize,
you talk about action figures, you talk about games. It's not just about the books, is it, guys?
No, it's not. And we've got some prototype action figures of Kolga. And this one I painted. It's not perfect, but we're working on some, some versions of her, because we have access to a 3D printer.
Get across that. Show it real good. So is this 3D? That's kind of 3D printed there.
Yep, 3D printing.
Okay.
And there's we're just trying to fine tune the model.
Let's see that.
Get it the way we
let's
want
see
it.
that first one again, Josh, if you would.
Yeah,
the one you painted. Wow.
And it's it's not perfect, but it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. So we're working on. I think we're really close to having a really good Kolga figure that could potentially be a part of a stretch goal, or at least be something that we can have on the table at cons. We just love making cool stuff. We've talked about this on your show before. The things that we love, for me, Akira, the Weapon X, Barry Windsor Smith's Weapon X run. Books like Tokyo Ghost. There are certain comic book storylines that I will go back to again and again and again.
That's Sean Gordon Murphy on Tokyo, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And Rick Remender.
I like his rough style of drawing. I
do too. And I really like Rick Remender's story in that particular
Rick Remender goes way back to the early 80s.
He's been around for a while, and he's just gotten better.
With Mike Gustovich on Justice Machine, I think, back in the early 80s.
Yep.
Last time,
a while back, maybe I guess last month or maybe even this month, Dan had come down and visited with me. We stopped at the local comic shop, and I picked up all of the Punisher Warzone when Chuck Dixon and John Romita Jr. I picked up, I think it's like there's something like 8 issues that were written by Chuck Dixon Jr. And like there's books like that I just go back to, anime series or TV series. Like I'll go back. I've watched Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion a million times.
Me too.
Especially the movie, the end of Evangelion. I've watched that so many times. I watched Blade Runner again last week, and I watched Blade Runner multiple times a year. Like we want to create something that hits in the way that kind of stuff hits, and that whether you're a 13-year-old and you're living in your trailer like I was, or whether you're 30 something and you just looking for something that scratches the itch.
Well, you don't know what's going to trigger the next sort of epiphany for you, because I was going through last night on the phone with my sister. I was going through old photos, and I had this old photo, and it's like, I'm going to send this to you. And it had this character in there that I haven't totally, over a decade probably, or just about a decade old character. And I've never had, okay, what's the origin? What's the backstory? And it came to me when I woke up early this morning, and it's like, and two or three, 2.5 pages later, you know, I've got not only that, but connecting with this character and that, and this group, and wow, you know, all in just putting it in the back of my mind here. Let me share this old photo with my sister, you know, and the only reason it was in color, I didn't do much color stuff because I would just do black and white so that it would be, you know, quicker and printable, and I can always get a colorist to color it.
I'm going to tell you what I want to happen. What I want to happen when somebody reads our book, I remember as a kid, and I'm sure you remember when they did Dark Horse did Batman versus Predator the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember buying all 3 issues of that first Batman versus Predator run. And then immediately, like I read through those 3 issues 1,000 times, I think. And then I started drawing in my little spiral bound notebook. I started drawing Spider-Man versus Predator and Hulk versus Predator and Superman versus Predator. And I read it. It had this huge impact from the visuals and the story and the violence of it and the darkness of it. And then it's like, yes, I've got to reproduce this. I've got to do, and I started creating, I was 12 or 13 probably. And I was like, I started drawing all this stuff. I want somebody to read Kolga and say, I've got to draw that. I need to create my own story in that world. And that's what art really is capable of. Yeah. If you're not just shilling.
I know what you're saying is that you want your work to inspire others, and you
want it to inspire, you want it to entertain.
Stuff, you know, you could, okay, I've been collecting about 50 years, but I could take you to certain sections of runs or certain limited series or something that were really inspiring to me.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
And that's all the rest is kind of like padding, you know. It's good, but it's not that inspiration, that thing that you were talking about. I return to again and again and again, no matter how many times I watch. You know, I watched Wizard of Oz, loved it as a kid, man. It's still a classic movie. They never should remake that movie. I'm sorry, it's done.
Yeah,
you know,
and I don't like the deconstructions of it. And we're not I don't like deconstructions really of comics. And what I really think, you talk about the indie scene, so much of what's being put out in the indie scene and from the big studio, big corporations, it's all empty calories. There's no meat. And you know, we've from day one, you know, Dan's getting better at writing. I'm hopefully getting better as an artist. We're growing as we work, but from day one, we wanted to put out something that doesn't just feel like empty calories. That doesn't.
Do you edit Dan's stuff, and does Dan, will he be editing your stuff that you write?
So the process of that it always comes down to where Dan has the final word on writing and I have the final word on art. But I mean, there's things that Dan will come to me and say, "Hey, I think this should change," or this page just doesn't work like it is, and he's right. And I'm not perfect, and he's right, and we go back and it makes it better. Same thing with the story. There may be times when I tell Dan, "Look, this just needs something. This just isn't working yet." And up to this point, we've known each other for well over a decade now, and we've been working on this for a long time. We've never had an argument or gotten angry and pissed about it. It's always been like, no, I see where you're coming from. And now we may ultimately decide, nope, you were right. I think we are going to keep it like it is. But yeah, I'm critical in a positive way of his stuff. He's critical in a positive way of mine because we want it to be the best it can be. Yeah. Like we want to put out something we're proud of.
Well, one of those models that I think you can look at is, Nexus with Mike Barron and Steve Rude. They wanted to take the characters in different directions. So they said, okay, let's do it. Steve Rude, the artist, is taking his in one direction, and Mike Barron, and they're still friends. They still talk 2-3 times a week, They've been one of the super team ups of artist and writer for decades now,
I'm endlessly thankful for Dan, and I'm endlessly thankful for the work dynamic that he and I have created, because we know that it's not like that for everybody.
Yeah. Well, y'all been friends for a while. I was going to ask you, how long y'all had been friends by this point.
Yes. Yeah. A little over 10 years at least.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Hey, let's get together and do comics. And then
that's pretty much how it was.
I'm going to give you a 180-page tome, plus a screenplay, plus a opera.
An opera. Dude, a Godfoe opera would slap hard.
Yeah, well, it would be like Flash Gordon, which is kind of like Alex Ross's favorite movie, which is, I can see where he describes it as a rock opera. A Godfoe opera would probably be something like that, hard rocking with a Queen track or something.
Well, I mean, Josh, what's funny is people don't know Josh does other comic work as well for different people. He stays busy. That's the thing, is Josh is kind of proven the whininess is dumb when people say they can't finish something. Like Josh finishes. Like you can do anything if you put like the time to it. I've got 2 kids and a full-time job, and I get my writing done. Not only do we get the comics written, we get prose works written and all this other stuff. You only live once, man, and you can focus on shilling, you can focus on grifting, you can focus on basically making as much money as you want, or you can focus on making art. And those two can coincide, but I think this time of the way that our world is right now, which is just pure, like, get your bag slop, that's coming to an end. Like, my generation and the one under me, they won't like genuine things. They're growing up with phones and with the internet. They're not impressed by it.
Right.
Yeah.
They want something tangible.
Do you see a lot of younger readers out there that are hungry for something different, though? I mean, I think every generation is, especially now, they just want truth. They want to know that they can believe in something and it be tangible and real.
Well, they've got more information than any generation that's ever existed. We grew up with the World Book Encyclopedia, and that was kind of it. But these kids have more information. Yeah, they have more information at their fingertip than any other human being that ever existed. But they have no lens for interpreting that information and finding out what's true, what's false, what's good, what's toxic. Like, and
there's no critical thinking. They don't know how to,
to parse that. And so, like, our books, yes, they're fun in a sense, like there's action and all, but we're also trying to deal with themes that are maybe heavier things we're dealing with. Like, how do you actually deal with traumatic events? how, what's a positive way and what's a negative way to deal with these things? Like, how do I deal with the fact that I'm becoming the thing that I hated? Like, what do I do with the idea that there's this thing that's called God and I don't want to bow to it? Like, we're bringing out these pretty hefty themes in our books. We're doing it in a way that hopefully is engaging and not intimidating, but we are trying to address, things like, Apollyon is a dark book. It deals with the fact, like, yes, there's a government and you can't trust these people, but if they're powerful, power corrupts. You can't trust these people to have your best interest.
Do you see that kind of playing out in real life, real time in the
100%.
last, since you've
absolutely.
been working on that?
The UK is basically declaring war on its own citizens.
Yeah.
We've reached a point where truth is literally in people's faces, and the media will get on there and lie. And I mean, you can just get on Twitter and you can see these people lie, these politicians lie. They don't read comments, they don't care. They're just there to spew out the message, the narrative, and get off. And Piers Morgan of all people, literally got on TV or on X and was saying that he would basically trade his culture for Indian food. It's like any other time in history, you probably would have been hanged for that, for that sentence. And I'm not saying we should do that because I don't live in the UK and I'm not calling for violence. But what a bizarre state to be living in.
I mean, you've got old World War II vets saying this is not the country we fought for, and that's a big statement.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we've had what? Josh, help me out here. What? 900 years of the scimitar versus the cross. We know
at least,
we know where what the UK is supposed to be, and it's not supposed to be a caliphate.
Yeah, and and I know that we're just making comics. We're not. Mm-hmm. We're making a lot more than that, but we want to tackle these things. And see, you asked, do young people seem to, when we do cons and do signings, young people, and when I say young people, I think certainly teenagers gravitate towards the art.
Yeah.
But 20-somethings gravitate towards the themes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what you think your average viewer, your readership is when you go to cons.
I think that the 20-somethings crowd, and it may be late stage millennials, early, Gen Z in particular, they really gravitate towards our books because of the themes, because the questions we're asking, they pick it up and immediately they're like, oh, this is tackling this idea and this idea and this idea. And that's what grabs them.
And the younger crowd, you got thick books. When they pick up one of your books, it's like, damn, this is the encyclopedia
this is
you were just talking about. This is
it's a tome.
This is not just one little floppy that I'm going to read and be tomorrow. There's got to be something in this.
Dan, tell him how we met Brody, because I think that's the perfect illustration of what I'm talking about.
Sure. I was at a horror convention. Josh couldn't make it, and I was selling the books, and it was a strange place to be selling comics. People wanted VHSs. Yeah. They didn't really want comics.
Right.
And this one guy, and I almost called him a kid because he was 20, came up, looked at it, bought Apollyon 1, went and read it in the cafeteria or whatever it is, the food court. Mm-hmm. He came back and he discussed the themes and the philosophical work behind it with me for about an hour and a half, just standing there.
Wow.
And I wasn't even going to go back because it was a rather long drive for me to get home that night. I wasn't even going to go back. It was a 2-day thing. And I was like, I really don't feel like moving all this stuff myself and doing all this. I was like, I'll go back to talk to that guy. He said he would be there. So I went back and we talked about another hour or two the next day. And we exchanged phone numbers, and now I talk to him every Friday, and he's writing a series for us called The Blitz Beast, which is a spinoff of Apollyon, and he wrote Apollyon 20XX Incantations, which is part of the Apocrypha that people can read online for free. So not only did we make a good friend, but we met an awesome artist. He's making another series in our universe called Mr. Slip, which is an almost Moses Exodus like story involving augmented creatures that he's made up that go along with our story. And that's just awesome. Like that our world could inspire someone to do that stuff.
Yeah, in the most unlikely of places, like you say, a horror, which you do have some very horrific on this campaign and on
Kolga's
probably on
horror.
some,
Yeah.
huh?
Kolga definitely leans into horror,
Hmm.
dark
Imagery.
fantasy and horror
Hmm.
imagery. More so even than the volume one did. Not gratuitous, but it's certainly
Right.
there. We try to aim for 13 and up as
Yep.
kind of our age bracket, but older comic fans will come to a book like Kolga, and it will remind them of how they felt reading like a really good issue of like Heavy Metal magazine or
Hmm.
an epic magazine that Marvel used to do, those kind of
Right.
code-free magazine types. They'll pick up on that kind of influence because that's a big influence on me. And they'll pick
Yeah.
up on if they grew up with Akira and that kind of stuff. That's what they'll feel out of it. I had at least 4 people that read Apollyon Volume 1 that the first thing out of their mouth was like, it reminds me of the original Ninja Turtles, the Eastman and Laird, just because of the gritty black and white.
Yeah.
And that's how they connected with it. So I think, younger people, the 13, 14-year-old crowd, they pick up Kolga, they're going to feel more like it's going to connect more to Demon Slayer for them. And it isn't like any of those things. It's just, it has the atmosphere of these things.
Maybe a little flavor. Yeah.
And I think it's a wildly unique story, but I think
It's
there's certain
unique. I was going to say it's a unique property, but your mind grasps for some connection. What is this
it's
like?
It's how we
may be
quantify
nothing
things.
really like it. You just see a little something.
Yeah.
Some things are some things are inexplicable. They're so unique.
Yeah, it's how we quantify. I think there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, I think that
Definitely.
a lot of different age
Shows
groups
your
can
originality.
engage with it. Yeah, I think people can engage with it in a lot of different ways. And you have some people that may just like, man, I love this art. This is a cool story. I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna get the next one because it's just cool.
I mean,
then you'll have somebody else that'll.
I know, Josh, you've got your influences. Dan's got yours, and you put it in a blender and blah, blah, blah. Here's Godfoe universe. Okay. So, that helped shape your aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But really, when you look at comics today, is there anything like Godfoe universe out there? It's kind of unique, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
That comes
and I'm not trying to say that to be arrogant, but yeah, it's really hard to find anything that's doing what we're doing, especially not, we have both books that we've put out have very strong female leads. And I think that they're written in a way that's a lot more authentic and maybe than they're not. Yeah. They're not eye candy. Like they're not cheesecake. And
yeah, I mean, you can find that a dime a dozen.
Yeah, they're not Mary Sue's. It's not a female power fantasy. The main thing that usually happens with my female characters when I write them is I tap into the motherhood archetype because that's the main way to create like a good female hero. I mean, Ripley. People know this when they see Ripley.
Yeah.
I think that. I mean, certainly there are artists that are more talented artists than me. I'd be a fool to say that there aren't, but I'm proud of my art, and I feel like my art's definitely growing and getting better with each volume. So I'm very happy with the work I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there's something about Dan's writing, my art, the world we created together it's just greater than the sum of its parts. And I'm just excited to be a part of it, and it bringing this world to life is what keeps me, in a lot of ways, keeps me going. And it's not to say that like it's an idol in my life or anything like that. It's not my God or anything, but there is something about having a thing that you've created that's going to outlive you. That's a really cool thing to be a part of, and I'm proud of it.
Josh,
and
next time you go to Tokyo, before I forget it, bring me back some Pez dispenser.
I will, dude. I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Shoot,
Yeah. I think
if
they've
there's
actually got
specific
little
things,
vending machines that have that type of
they've
stuff.
got vending machines in Tokyo with everything you can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do
I like to
you
get
collect
foreign
Pez?
Pez, and that would be a good way for me to get some from Anna
I
goes
will make
every
sure when I go back, Rex, I will bring you some Japanese Pez.
if you can find them,
100%.
if it's convenient, but
I can find
yeah.
them.
So you're gonna go to Tokyo when?
2007, January 2027. Sorry, 27.
Okay. Okay. So
So
it's
that'll
gonna
be
be a
my
while. Yeah.
third
That's
trip.
good that you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes about a year to raise the funds to go.
Yeah.
This is about a $3,000 trip.
Yeah. Yeah. And how long do you stay when you go over to Tokyo?
We're 10 days, but really 2 days of
Wow.
that is travel. So like 8 days on the ground and then 2 days on a train and a plane and another plane. And
Well, I've got time to get you some money so that you're not dead broke over there and buy me a whole
dude, that's the best thing about Tokyo and Japan in general is that the exchange rate from yen to dollar is so much in our favor that like you feel like you're a king while you're there, dude.
Yeah.
I got like a steak dinner that would have been $50 here. I paid like equivalent of $4 for. Like it's you feel rich while you're there.
Yeah. They have a little bit of everything there culturally, don't they?
Oh yeah, it's a cool place, man.
Mm-hmm.
Best city in the world.
Yep.
Certainly the cleanest.
And we know it's Christmas time, and like no one's really doing campaigns right now.
Yeah.
So we expect like more of a pickup in January. But just to reiterate, like I don't know, no one is doing what we're doing, and no one's giving you like what we're giving you. I mean, like I said, the catch-up tier is these 3 books plus Kolga 2, about 500 pages of comic, add another about 300 or so, maybe 400 on top of digital stuff if you haven't read it before. I mean, we have people that bought back the last project in January that still haven't caught up reading for this one. Because I
don't think you're going to find anybody that's giving you as much content as we are for the amount of money that we're giving you. If you back
when
this,
I renewed my campaign back in March, I kind of had like a soft relaunch. One thing that we did was I gave everybody a digital tier. Nice. They no longer had to purchase it, and
we do that for anybody that does physical.
Yeah. I noticed that was my point, that I see that you're doing that on every level. And why not? I mean, and the good thing about
it doesn't cost us anything.
You know what really got me was you can put additional stuff in there on the digital that you can't physically print because of shipping costs and printing costs, stuff like that. You could put reams of other stuff in the digital, pinups or whatever,
and it's just cool to see the art. You get to see it so big and so high def too.
Now, one thing I liked about Godlike, now I didn't get Godlike, but I got a catch up tier with John Malin's pet, the cemetery one, whatever, his X-Men versus Universal Monsters, what mix up, whatever it's called. And I got to catch up with that on the 3rd issue and just to see what it was like. Right. And in there, I thought a very smart thing. He already had a Godlike little, paper thing saying coming soon with the first images of Godlike on there. And I thought that was good, promoting in fulfillment your next project with something.
And we always do that. So I know that with this book, I'm sure that we'll have in the back, we'll have promo for the next volume of Apollyon.
That's sure always
we'll probably have the novel.
Always be promoting.
And there may be even some more stuff that we we always try to let people know that there's more coming.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's wondering, the next thing is already written. I just have to draw it. So I'm always catching up to him, not the other way around.
Is your goal to, now I know you got novels and you've got all kinds of stuff going on now, but what kind of schedule are we looking at? Now I know you're going to print this in March, but Are you trying to do one book a year? Are you trying to do 2 books a year?
We
At least 2
typically hit
campaigns
2 a
a year?
year.
Yeah,
Still?
at least
Yeah.
2 a year.
Yeah. And fulfillment just pretty close to a month after you close everything out, right?
Always always within a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
We've
that's a good
never
thing
run into
about my
any
next
problem.
project. It's going to be the art is already done, because
Nice.
it's been done for decades.
Mhm.
The
Hey, there
unseen
you go.
artwork of John Buscema. So I just have
Oh
to put it
yeah,
together in
yeah.
a
It's just a matter
aesthetic
of
form
arranging it.
text, and I've got it,
Yeah, that's cool.
and a logo,
And
for
people
it.
will love that. People will absolutely
Yep.
love that.
Yeah, I think it'll be passive income for a good long time, and it'll
Yeah, that's going to be
enable me
great.
financially, hopefully, if it's successful enough to do what I want to do, which is my universe of characters,
Yep.
Right,
which
right.
I've wanted to
And
do for
we're
50 years.
hoping to, we're probably in the next year, some of the peripherals that we're working on will hopefully maybe be able to do a Patreon, which
Mhm.
also would be some passive
Yeah.
income,
hmm
just to flow into the. And then once the game is out, hopefully the game is also a steady flow of people discovering it. And when we have it where we can sell it at the con, people play it and then they buy it right there and they can download it when they get home. Like that kind of stuff is really going to help a lot.
Oh, let me put this bug in your ear.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
guys need to have me on your YouTube channels. I'm just saying,
Yep.
Absolutely, man.
you know.
We'll
Um,
definitely have you on sometime soon.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
when
always
when
open,
we
man.
when we get close to closing out, maybe I'll hit you up on Instagram.
Should.
Oh yeah,
Right
that'd be
now
great.
my
Yeah,
ex
just let us
is
know.
working. I need.
When are you planning on? Because we could do a whole episode of a show just talking about John's work. Like I'm such a huge fan of his work, so like when that book's ready, we could definitely do an episode talking with you about
You
how
mean
you came by
John
that stuff.
Flandays, the artist, or who are you
Uh,
talking about, John?
Buscema,
Oh, Basima. Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll be all over the place with that. Like I said, I'm probably going to do the Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic and
Yeah,
Zoop or wherever I can get it. And then of course
street
quick
corners.
fulfillment, and then get it into like Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Books a Million and all those places. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Because
gonna
I
be
think
cool.
that'll be good passive income. Because
Yeah,
if
that's
you
gonna be
like
really cool.
sequential art, you got to go, in your
Yeah,
top
you're not
10
gonna
at
find
least.
better than that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And like I
that's really
said,
cool.
just from the stuff that I have in my collection and he has in his collection combined into one book, it's like we're not trying to do that with this first volume. We're doing a select portion of the work. Um,
Right.
but if it's successful, then we'll do another one, a more extensive, with the stuff that we didn't use. And we might even incorporate all of the first book into it as well. But
Yeah, just do a really
um,
big or a boxed
yeah,
set
with
or
that's going to be more involved because we do have quite a bit of it. We've actually got some of the last drawings that he did before he died, the last
oh
project he
wow.
worked on, which was actually for DC Comics, not Marvel at all. It was
Hmm.
it was an Elseworld called a Superman called Blood of My Ancestors. Gil Kane was doing it and he died, and then John
Oh
Buscema
wow.
took it over and then he died, and then Kevin
The
O'Neill
cursed
had to come
book.
in and finish it.
And then he died.
And no, he lived. No, he actually got it finished. But yeah, we've actually got several preliminary and like cover, what would eventually wind up on the cover and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty neat to have some of the last work that he actually did,
Yeah,
as well as
that's a
some of
cool
his
thing.
vintage stuff.
That's special, man.
Mhm. And I want to share that out with the world, and show people
Of
the
course.
unseen
Like
artwork.
that's something really cool.
Don't keep it
It's
hidden
something
for
we don't get a
decades,
whole
right?
lot of anymore, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
you blink.
after Remita Sr. and George Perez has died, I see more stuff that was never meant to be covers published by Marvel, you know. So I know they know what sells, and that's why they're reprinting
Mm-hmm.
so much stuff in the treasury editions, and they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
repackage it with gold with these full covers and stuff. And it's like, yeah, what? you know, but it's how far, and I get it. They're lucky they're not closed down at this point, really.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel and DC.
And honestly, the movies and stuff are what keep them afloat, and that's they're one more bad movie away from that cash cow dying.
Yeah, right. And I mean, comics overall, including Scholastic, including manga, and all, is only like $1 billion. To big corporate people, that is small potatoes.
Mhm.
Comics are very niche in the business world. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think the momentum is on the side of the indie to kind of keep it alive and more creator centric. And I think you're right, Josh, that the more challenging ideals are on the sort of like epic side, or the more things that can be expressed like in their um
Well, it's even like DC.
Max
DC,
series, or the
the best
you know
stuff DC has done in years was stuff that the Black Label stuff that they did for a while, and
yeah
even that started to suck after a while. But like
yeah
at first, the Black Label books they were doing were really good.
mm-hmm.
Three Jokers and like Curse of the White Knight, those kinds of things were really dope. And then, but I could care less. I don't like Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman. I don't care for any of that.
Yeah.
I know it's a popular book, and I just it's just repurposed Spawn.
Youngblood was also a popular book for a time.
Yeah, and it was not well written.
What was it? What was it, Dan?
Youngblood.
Youngblood. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Right now, there are two animated series on YouTube right now. One of them is called Space King, and the other one is called The Will Stancil Show. And the first one's made by two guys, and the second one is made by one woman. And they're blowing up because they do not play by the same rules, especially of animation. They don't have the same humor. They're more right-leaning, or in the case of the Will Stancil Show, she's very far right-leaning. But they have a transgressive humor. They have the humor that would have been popular 25 years ago when you could say anything on TV.
Yeah.
And they're pushing boundaries. Like, why would someone watch The Simpsons? Why would anyone watch South Park? Like, these shows are funnier.
Or Family Guy.
Yeah, like what? Yeah. Those are dinosaurs now. It's and they're fossils, and that's what comics are. Unfortunately, the comic like the idea of comics as a medium has still not reached its peak, and that's what's really funny is we had Dark Knight Returns, Watchmen. Those are the two everybody go to. I think there's better comics than that have existed, but.
Well, I think Josh Kost, touched on it when he was talking about deconstructionism. I think we come full circle where people are not wanting that anymore. They want something.
They want something
different.
that feels. Yeah, they want something that feels iconic now. And those books hit at the time that they did because they hit the zeitgeist just right. Things like Watchmen, things like Dark Knight
and
Returns.
They had technical innovations in the 80s. You had the graphic novels come out for the first time. You had, like you said, Epic magazine, which kind of rival, again with the magazines. And then you had Digest as well. You had the direct market that came out. So there was a new distribution, which quickly did away with the old distribution, which, in hindsight is not a good thing.
No, and both of those examples, Dark Knight and
creator owned projects for the very first time. That was
I think that those things, they were reactionary to politics of the time, takedown of the Reagan era and all.
Thatcher.
And they hit the zeitgeist just at the right time. It's the same reason why Nirvana were not that great of a band, but the image of
attitude
and the attitude of Cobain was so different from Poison or the hair band stuff, and that it just was it it was the right thing at the right time.
It was a guy down the road that you hear practicing his drum or guitar
Right.
in the
Yeah.
garage. Yeah.
And I honestly think that comic books, I agree with Dan. I don't think we have reached the peak of what that medium can actually do storytelling wise.
Right.
And we're reaching for something that's bigger than we can see right now. We're trying to push the medium into something more than what it is. But we understand that doing that may not be everybody's cup of tea, but we've found that people are enjoying. The people that have backed us have really seemed to connect with us as creators and with the world itself. And
well, you're doing the number one thing, which is thinking out of the box.
Yeah, and that's really what we've tried to do, what we're going to continue to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody that signs up for this, look, you're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to get a book that's late. You're not going to get something that's phoned in that has 2 really well-drawn pages and then a bunch of other crappy ones. Like, it's consistently good. It's building towards something bigger, a bigger story. You're going to get a complete arc of a story in this book, but it's going to build towards something bigger, and we are going to finish it, and we are going to pay it off. All of this is everything we're building. We know where it ends. It's got a finish line in sight for us, and we're going to get there and make it as epic as we can on the way there. And we're going to give you as many cool things as we can possibly throw your way, just to thank you for being a part of this and helping us do what we love to do.
And like you said, there's going to be spinoffs too, right?
Oh yeah, there's so much more coming. We've got we could work on the stuff we've already written and until the day we die, but we'll still keep writing more stuff, because eventually, hopefully, I'll be able to pull in, get new other artists involved.
Well, I found in just doing, my sketch cards for everybody and creating new characters that suggests new stories and new avenues. So everything that you do sort of builds on itself, right? After a while.
Yeah.
Ideally. Situation.
There's something to exclusivity, particularly in the age of the internet, and particularly in the progressive left-wing miasma of inclusivity that's been pushed down our throats as an idea. Exclusivity makes things special. That's what marriage is. That's what friendship is. It's preferencing one person over another. And I think a high barrier to entry, which is the absolute opposite of modern marketing. People want everything to be mass appeal. A high barrier to entry creates exclusivity. That creates a niche. So when you have something that is like, no, like you've read this, but you've got all this lore you got to get into too, and this, that separates the wheat from the chaff. That separates people from being casuals who buy one thing versus people who love something. And I mean, I'm a Warhammer fan. I don't even read the lore, and I love the models and I love the lore that I haven't even read yet because the barrier to entry is so high. Like, art should expect something from you. It shouldn't just spoon feed you.
Yeah. I agree.
Like you have a deep appreciation for a lot of things, for like history and philosophy and religion. We talked before. Those things are not easy to get into.
No, there's a learning curve involved.
Yeah, and it's a consistent learning curve, because those are such giant things that people have debated them for all of human history.
Right. And
art
used
should
to be
like
a big part of our culture, but becoming less and less as things have become more and more options, it's like a larger market.
It doesn't really even matter what side of the political landscape you land on. I think the reality of this past year has shown us that if you're open yourself up to dialogue, real, uncomfortable, raw dialogue, and bring people into that space, the people that don't like those conversations happening will kill you.
Yeah, well, I was about to say, you might get shot.
back in my day, you know, we had interviewers like Dick Van Cav,
Yeah.
Dick Cavett, and you know, others that, you know, it wasn't all like
You
Charlie
want all
Rose, which
softballs.
is,
Yeah.
you know, but we, you know, also like you were saying earlier, Dan, 25 years ago, or even further back when you had like the Dean Martin roast, where you had anti-Jewish jokes, which there's a Jew telling the joke, you
Yep.
know, or black jokes or whatever. Everything was game, and you knew it was a joke, and no one was supposed to be offended. You know, there was a time in the 80s and 90s, and then we got the great divider in office, and even before that, you know,
Yeah.
the ginning up of, okay, you're a separate group and you should be mad at this group and that. And so, yeah, I see a great division within culture now, and hopefully something will bring us all together. I think comics can kind of do that.
I think
I
art.
think that,
Can.
yeah, I think art does, and whatever form it takes. I think
Mhm.
pop culture, when it's done right, has always been a unifying thing. You know, Dan and I have talked about it. He grew up in a town that he was like one of what, maybe 3 white kids in his school.
Pretty much.
And
Yeah.
and what have we
Wow.
always said was the great unification for you in school?
Oh, Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, man. If we all like
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, we all got, like, that's how really cool stuff can do that, right?
Yeah.
It can bring people from all kinds of backgrounds together because we love this one thing that's so cool and it's bigger than both of us. And if we can love that same cool thing, and we can love each other too, and like,
Yeah.
you'll never find a more like toxic environment than the online nerd community, but you'll never find a more inclusive and loving environment than the face-to-face nerd community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I push back on with it is I think we are, because everyone, especially we're from the American South, and white, black, whatever, we've all worked together since the Civil War because everybody was poor and destroyed.
Mhm.
Reconstruction was a failure on multiple levels,
Absolutely.
and poverty has been a problem up until maybe 1950 for us.
Yeah.
And I say all that to say the major white pill from all of this black pill dooming is when you see how much institutional power that progressive idea and woke and divisive idea had to have to divide people, you realize the average person does not accept it.
It's a paper tiger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. It had to have
But it's well
complete
funded and it's on
control.
TV every day.
Yeah, but it
And
but it has to be. That's the thing. The
It's
second
propaganda.
the second it's turned off, 90% of it goes away.
Yeah. I mean,
And
look at
that's the
look at
reality
big
is
case
that
for global warming, and it just, you know, it's low on everybody's list.
Yep. Well, the
And that's why
the
if
war in
you
Ukraine,
just-
nobody cares about that anymore.
no, and if you just stop listening to it,
Yep.
if you just realize none of these people are telling the truth
Right.
on either side, you just stop listening to it and look at what's actually happening in your world. You're right. So much of that and the stress and anxiety we carry from it ends.
I think so. I think I think the temperature has been artificially turned up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
most
think there are
people are onto
crazies.
that now.
Well, I think there are crazies. I'm responding to Tasteful Thickness right now. I think there are going to be outliers that are insane. Like left-wing violence in the 70s was ridiculous. People forget the days of terror and Weather Underground. It's like, I think all the prominent Weather Underground leaders went into politics and academia. None of them were arrested.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
And change their tactics. They had to, because there's only so far you can go with that, not get arrested.
You know, to go in with what he was saying about, you know, different people should just be in different places. I don't think that it's so much a matter of saying like you're not allowed here and I'm not allowed there. It's just that naturally We aim towards we tend to be homogeneous, and that's just you're going to want to be around people that you have things in common with.
Sure.
And that doesn't mean that you can't love and respect one another. And it doesn't mean that you don't allow common space. But the natural inclination of human beings, if you'll just leave them alone, is that honestly, I'm going to spend time with my wife before I spend time with anybody else. That's my person.
Well,
You know,
it's okay to be discriminating. If you think about that, like it's okay for me to like oranges over bananas. That's
as long as I don't say to
discrimination.
somebody else that bananas can't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Well, and
Yeah.
I agree, Thickness. He says we have $1 trillion government and NGO structure in place to transport Haitians into Ohio. Nothing about this is normal. Now, I agree. I think that there is agitation. But what I'm saying is the
It's
hopeful
well
part of
funded.
it. Well, that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that it has to be. And the thing about a Leviathan like that is that it's big and scary, but it requires a ton of food. And the second it's starved, it dies. Because it is so manufactured, it can collapse overnight. We saw this with the USSR. The USSR just consumed resources, killing itself, pumping, trying to control everything. And the second it was out, it dropped. And that's what I think I'm hoping for with the mass psyop of our modern world is the second this stuff just dries up or we can cut like parts of it off, it's just done because it can't keep lumbering forward. I think that's why they're pushing so hard for 2030. People forgot that 5 years ago they were publishing all those articles saying 2030, 2030. We got to get everything ready for 2030. And it's like we didn't forget that you guys were saying that. Like you're still pushing. Yeah. We know you're still pushing towards it for basically global slavery.
One thing I'll say to Tasteful is that not all unity is good. I've often said, let me see the jackboots on Main Street. At least I know who to go fight. This little behind your back, use my own, like big corporations, like using my own money against me. I've invested in and made that company what it is today by buying their products. And then they use that against you. That I don't like.
And not to try to hijack this and make it about our books, but not to hijack this and make it all about our books, but Tasteful Thickness over there. That's one of the things that Apollyon 20XX, our first book, that's a big theme of it is the elites, the power that they have, and they're trying to create essentially a man-made controlled God that can send out with just a thought, a will to the people, and whatever they send out as a signal, we just think it's our thought. You just think it happened in your mind. It's your own thought. Are these people that have this much power? That's ultimately what they want. If they could control your will, they would.
Yeah, I think we're.
And if they could create and be a god, they would.
It would
Cyberpunk C.S. Lewis is a perfect way to describe it, dude. Yeah. And the whole reason we're called the Godfoe universe is because any kind of god that these people would make, if they could, it would not really truly be a benevolent thing.
It's just a substitute.
And it could not possibly, it could not possibly be good for the world.
Yeah, like you know what they call Parmesan cheese. I guarantee you nobody on panel has ever tasted really authentic, rare, expensive Parmesan cheese. It's only made one place in the world. And what we call Parmesan cheese is not real Parmesan cheese. But there is a real, and if you had the real thing and you had the fake and you did a taste test, you would know there's no substitute for the real thing.
Yep.
So once you've experienced God, nothing else will do. It's like anything else,
Well, that's the thing is a lot of it, especially by the time of Kolga, is I purposely wanted to explore the Gnostic idea of the demiurge because so many stories now, many stories are Gnostic stories and people don't realize it. The creators don't realize it. and they accept it's always that the past is evil, or the father figure or the mother figure is flawed and bad, and someone's
Sure.
trapped. And what Kolga realizes is in her timeline is like this thing that is called God. It can't possibly be. They can't fight it. They can't escape it. But she appeals to there must be something more than that. And she doesn't have the words for it. She doesn't have a term for a proper God or a benevolent figure. And it's a deeply philosophical and religious work. And I'm having to make the philosophy of the world based off the science they live in. But that's what's fun. Like that's what the codex is. A lot of the last fourth of the codex is her trying to lay out this philosophical religious view of the world she's trying to understand and tell other people to. But all
and
that to say,
that's not easy to get across and articulate, is it?
it's not, but it's so much fun. And it's like, well, what else is
and that's
there,
why
man?
it's
Like,
worthwhile.
yeah,
That's why it's worth the effort.
That's why it's got some meat
And
on the bone.
yeah, it's worth the effort to ask those questions and think about those things. And what I love about Kolga as a character is that she spends so much of her life and sacrifices so much to defy this. And when she does finally manage to bring this thing down a notch, to take a chunk out of it, she realizes that what she's opposed, it was bad, but at least it kept order. Like she's created a worse problem in the vacuum that she made.
Yeah.
And that, that it's not a simple dialectic of world. It's everything is so interwoven, and
holistic.
Will and intention and power and all these things, you can't just make it go away, right?
Well, I'd like to compliment both of you guys because, a lot of millennials, I don't know where you fall. They even call me first generation
I think
Gen
Josh
X.
is Gen X.
Okay.
I'm 42, so it just depends on how, like, Gen X versus millennials, it different statuses for different one. Like, depends on what you look up.
Exactly. Who's, I thought we fought a revolutionary war to do away with the class system, right, and labeling, but it seems like we're all labeled. But even an old codger like me that turned 60 recently. But what I was going to say was you two are, a lot of the millennials or a lot of the, maybe my daughter's age, which is about 40, get a bum rap. I think it's not being able to think, but I mean, you guys are articulating and writing about and creating, with your art, whether it be in writing or other, on paper or coloring, whatever, you two prove that the younger generation is not just plug me in, jack me in somewhere, and feed me anything, and I'll, that you're free thinkers. I think that speaks well of both of you.
Well, I
appreciate that.
I think I appreciate the two-sided thing with that is I think there's a lot of us like that. Particularly on X and on YouTube, a lot of it is like young white guys writing whole theses and philosophical or political things, and they're very smart. My problem is like that's great. They think through things, but none of them are artists. And that's something that I've talked about with Josh all the time is that you're a Christian as well, Rex. It's very hard threading that needle as a Christian and an artist.
Yes.
Like,
and in fact, for a long time, it was this push pull. How can I do what I want to do in comics and still honor God? And that's a big thing. I did not want to do anything that would be counter God. It's easy just to slip in that, be in the flesh and write all these gotcha things, but that's not what I ultimately want to do. I want to address larger issues in a more natural way.
Well, that's the thing is the reason I think a lot of these guys, and the popular term is they call them theory cells, like incel, but they're into theory, is that they can study Hobbes and Locke,
Right.
whatever, all these kind of guys, and write long works of political theory. But my thing is, I don't think you understand a philosophy until you can narrativize it. And
Yeah.
I think Tolkien was a better philosopher than Nietzsche, because with someone like Samwise Gamgee, you see that he has surpassed the Ubermensch, and he's a good person, and he's a humble person. I mean, and of course,
And he
if you
puts it in
study
action as a character.
exactly, well,
Yeah.
if you study the Bible, I mean, that's the whole thing. When God became incarnate, that's a story, that's a narrative. All of history is a narrative, and
Mm-hmm.
it points to this one central figure, Christ, who came as a
Mm-hmm.
person, and he told parables, and
And
it's
and
circles and
run
circles.
reason, as a believer, uh, know that it's true and just not mythology, which they'll
Yeah,
be calling it
Yeah,
myth
it's
and
not.
fables, and they
Yeah,
already
it's
are.
not.
It's because it
It's
shows you
events.
the underbelly as well as the good.
yep.
It shows
Yeah.
you the bad that these individuals
Oh yeah, I
did
had
as
that
well.
discussion with a friend of mine who is, a bit of the, and I'm not getting into a political thing here, but he has a problem
Mhm.
with the Jewish people,
Right?
and he's a Christian, not because of it. And it's like, look, we can get into topics about
Yeah.
Israel, we can,
Right.
that's a whole
Sure.
different thing, but like no other people wrote a book that shows their failures so
Yeah.
much as a
Right.
civilization than the Bible. The entire Old Testament is just, hey, you guys screwed
Absolutely.
up again. You guys
Yeah.
screwed up again.
Book of Judges, they fell away from God after all those miracles in one generation.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like
What
it's a
what are you thinking?
collection. It's a collection of a culture's failure,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense. There's no other examples of that, and
Yeah.
I'm not using that as proof of God. I'm just saying that's beyond interesting.
Well,
But yeah,
I get the hang up. I mean, look, it's like, and I'm glad the Passion of the Christ actually had this in there, because I think that's a key book in the whole tome, right? Is I gave up my life. No one took it from me.
yeah,
Not Greek, classic Hellenistic Greek, not Jewish. They didn't take my life. I freely laid it down. Did you not know that I could have had legions come and defend me?
mhm.
He freely gave it, a gift, so we can't say the Jews killed him, the Romans killed him. We can't point fingers. It's like it's a gift. I freely gave it up on your
Well, it's
behalf.
like there's the moment in the Gospels where like they've got rocks in hand ready to stone him,
Yeah.
or to grab him and throw him off the cliff, and he's like, "You don't get to kill me today." And he
Yeah.
just
No,
walks
right.
through the
Yeah.
crowd and they part.
Walk right
Like, he's
through
like,
them.
"You
Yeah.
don't get to kill
Yeah.
me today."
Yeah. It's God's
It's
time. It's
and
Kairos time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Say what you will about the Bibles, and I'm thinking about that, about listening on YouTube to like what Orson Welles' favorite 10 movies and why they speak to him, or some other directors and things like that. Why do they like what they like, right? And it's like, say what you will about the Bible. I was thinking it's got big epic themes. It's
Mhm.
got
oh yeah,
even
there's
smaller, down to earth, universal themes. And I think we as artists, Josh, are always looking for the universality, and writers too,
Mhm.
are looking for those universal themes that will touch us on a day-to-day basis.
it's still the most influential book that ever existed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the most influential narrative in existence.
Yeah.
It's guided kings.
It
It's
deals with those big themes as
guided
well as the
generals.
small one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Look at what other work or collection of work has ever inspired the creation of cathedrals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's even if you don't take it as something that's true, which of course I do, but like just as a work of collected manuscripts from these people, there is nothing as rich, as deep, as profound, and as inspiring as scripture.
Yeah, I mean, I see, you can't, if you look at Star Wars and you don't compare it to like Abraham and Isaac and the sacrifice of his son, or like, some of these
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no
testimonies.
story
You're
that
missing a
exists
lot.
that doesn't have its roots in the Bible to me. I
Mhm.
mean, you can see the Bible all over Game of Thrones. They don't know that it is, but it's there. You know, these archetypical things, these themes that we all wrestle with, they've all been wrestled with before by much wiser men than we.
Oh, definitely, definitely, yeah. And I think that's, I mean, our literacy has went from like number one down to 40 something. We're almost like
Unfortunately,
50.
yeah.
Yeah,
Josh worked in public school. He's got stories.
Dude,
we need
yeah, tell me.
we need more readers, and I hope that
We do.
you're enticing some people to read more.
Well,
With
and
I hope so too.
well, I've thought about this before. Is like we write purposely like down a level to some degree. Like when you're discussing big giant things,
Mhm.
my problem with a lot of especially Western philosophers is when you read them, they're trying their best for the most part to reach and reach. Like Hegel is
The
indecipherable.
lofty.
And it's
Mhm.
like you read it and you're like, okay, hey, I get it. You think that there's an end of history. You think we're going to truth, and you think that you have to have a dialectic to get there. You didn't have to write 800 pages to do that.
More
Or
Calvinistic in its thinking, right?
yeah,
It's
or like Nietzsche and all these other kind of guys before Nietzsche got to narrative when he finally got to what's the word, parables. And
Mhm.
it's like that's not how you talk to people. That's how you talk to yourself to
Yeah,
think something through.
the inner
So
dialogue, right?
yeah, and some of that is in Kolga's writing, and like it will get a little dense, but like that's to mimic that style. It's like
So so Dan says you're a genius, but you lack social skills.
well, I don't know. Like that's the thing is like I think Tolkien and Lewis were as smart, if not smarter, than Nietzsche and Hegel. They
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
but they didn't write in this big, fat, indecipherable form. They knew
Mhm.
also enough of art and beauty and humanity to, and I think that's the thing that I think we have this, especially with the internet, that we've had so many decades of the more stupid and complicated and absurd an idea is, the better it is. When it's
Mhm.
like, no, you just don't like do stupid things. Like you can like, I think good and truth are very simple. And I think that our world is showing that because lies have to be so complicated. We have to get up, they have to pretend that,
Yeah.
this idea of mass immigration is a good idea after we just had another terrorist attack. And the academics have to write long papers about defunding the police. When
Yeah.
it's like, hey, if you defund the police, there's going to be way worse things happen. How
It's
about
gonna
we
be
just punish
anarchy. Yeah.
criminals? Like,
Yeah.
truth is very simple.
Mhm.
Like, that's what all that to say. Truth is very simple, and I try to like write. I think you should write in a way that anyone can read it. You can have bigger, lofty things, and you can go off on tangents, but it has to ground.
Yeah.
And I know I'm talking a lot, but to me, that's how, like the Pauline letters, he was writing to people who were learned and not learned. And I
Right.
know his style, it can almost be seen as circular. I get it, like the way he writes, but he's
Well, I mean,
repeating
the whole
things over
thing,
and
the
over and
way
over.
God looks at
Yeah.
time anyway is cyclical. It comes back to
Yeah.
itself. It's like the infinity symbol in a
Well,
way.
and
It is
and
cyclical.
and it's repeated so you get it.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
and a lot of
exactly. Yeah, because man is stupid.
yeah, I'm stupid. I get it.
Yeah. Uh, you know, uh, Thickness has a good thing here. They're thinking, short-sighted, not election cycles, but centuries. Yeah,
Mhm.
down the road, I think often we do. We're not. Look, man, we're all stand on the shoulders of people that maybe otherwise we wouldn't have heard of, like Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko,
Mhm.
John Buscema. We stand, and I think there's not necessarily like a union you pay a due, right? But we do need to honor those guys in doing the very best work that we can possibly do, because we're in
Yeah.
this tradition of we're in their field, they're the
And I
ones
will say,
that built the field, that we've now
and to
playing.
run with his metaphor, his statement there, it's not really a metaphor, I guess, but like
Mhm.
I'm way more interested in building a cathedral than
Mhm.
I am in building a bunch of condos.
Yep.
And like
Well, and
the work that we're doing, we're trying to build something that it's not a Christian book. It's not preachy or anything like that.
Right.
Um,
But it
in
does
the
inform
traditional sense.
your worldview.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to
Well,
have a worldview. You know,
well,
you
and
got
I don't
if
mean this in a.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
mean this in a mark.
Dan,
Yeah.
if you don't teach your children what to believe, somebody else will.
Yes,
And
you
it might
have
be
to. You
something you
have
don't
to
like.
You have to indoctrinate children. That term is considered evil now. Indoctrinate means to introduce into doctrine. And there's
Mhm.
no such
Yeah.
thing as a neutral place and a neutral idea. We've been preached this lie of neutrality. It's not
Mhm.
true. There's doctrine everywhere, either the doctrine of, your people, your
Absolutely.
land, your religion, or of neoliberalism that is the doctrine that says there is no doctrine, and they say there is no doctrine so they can think there is no doctrine so that they can replace you with a doctrine. That's the great sleight of hand, is that everything is
Mm.
subjective, but our subjective view is better than others. It's all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And I don't mean this in a Marxist way, but with Tasteful Thickness just said is you can't build cathedrals if you're thinking of capital. And
Yeah.
that is my big thing that I keep harping on in the arts. And we always get someone to block us, or someone makes a stupid video about us or something. It's like, I don't hate money, but you cannot be thinking of profit while you're making art. You won't build a cathedral. Those people who ran, the church gets such a bad rap, especially the Catholic Church. And it's like these people, like, I don't know, when you read the writings of like these priests and monks they took vows of celibacy and vows of poverty. They lived in a room the size of this office their entire life. They
Mhm.
dedicated their life to educating other people and themselves and building something that lasted beyond them. And they were able to do that because they did not think of capital, they did not think of profit, and they didn't think of self-gain.
Mhm.
That's what art is, and that's where art comes from.
And if you create the true unique art, the rest will come.
Yeah.
It's not done with a commercial mindset. That's what you're saying. Even though all
Yeah.
art is ultimately commercial
Yeah. And
within a commercial system.
thickness is
Mhm.
adding great points to it. Yeah, computers have this vision problem, which was unexpected. Yeah, they can't. I mean, AI is a joke. Like, this is a man-made bubble. Like,
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
promising things that they can't do. I think all these AI companies are trying to get military contracts, so they're making up everything that they think people want to hear. I think it's
Mhm.
as simple as that. The second one of them gets a big fat military contract to build surveillance for us, just like China for our own people, I think they're going to shut up about the singularity.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like, no, like, that's the thing, is like, yeah, you got to have a vision, and that's why vision was seen as from God from above, the guy on the mountain that comes down and he has something you can travel through and go through. And I don't know, I mean, I could do a whole dissertation on this, but like, my problem is, like, especially Christianity has lost its vision of power, and like, the Christian God
Authority.
is a God of power, and
Yeah.
he
Well, I
deals
mean,
in
all
power.
authority is being questioned now, and
Yeah.
not
Mhm.
necessarily, mostly in a negative way,
Oh yeah.
but
Mhm.
Well,
but
it's
the
that
pendulum
double-edged.
swings both ways.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's that lie. It's that power is bad, so give us power because you can't trust power.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's authority is bad, it corrupts, so give me authority because it corrupts.
Yeah. That's how
Instead of
Hitler came to power. That's how Mussolini
yeah,
and others. Yeah.
Mhm.
instead of
Absolute.
saying
It's
yeah,
a fear tactic. It's saying, well, absolute power absolutely corrupts. Not if you're uncorruptible.
yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, thickness. Like, they preach subjectivity and they preach subjectivism, and then they set themselves up as an objective truth. They say there
Mhm.
is no God so that they can be God. And
Yeah. We are the
to
standard
plug,
that you should judge by.
yeah, to plug,
Mhm.
that's what the order does in this book. They have built a system of negation to destroy and negate all culture and ideas and all minds and truths so they can set up their own God. That's what we're seeing now. And he mentioned Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson got so much hell for using the term postmodern neo-Marxist, but he was dead on. It's a tactic. It's not a description. They use postmodernism to tear down meta-narratives so that they can put in their own meta-narrative, which is the neo-Marxism.
Mm-hmm.
It's an acid they throw on culture so that they can build their own brick wall after yours is gone.
And that ties in with Biophile Kolga, the witches of Biophile Kolga, all of the power of witchcraft in that world. The way they operate as witches is to tear a person down and remove all sense of identity so that they can build a new identity that they can control.
It's all negation.
And that's how they get power. It's all negation. It doesn't replace, it just destroys.
Well,
it doesn't create.
Yeah. And that's progressivism. That's Marxism. Marxism's entire thing is the ruthless critique of everything that exists. That's his description. That's Marx's description of his own ideas.
And that's Satan. That's Satan looking at Christ and saying, "I can give you all the nations and all the kingdoms in the world can be yours right now. Just bow to me."
Yeah. Think about that statement. You will have all power if you bow to me. Like,
yeah.
It's
by very definition, you can't do that. Yeah, and if you give an inch, he'll take that inch and make a stronghold out of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
No, and all that to say, all these ideas are in our work peripherally and not, but we also try to just make it a good, entertaining, fun story, and that's why we have to do so much. We didn't want pages of text in a comic book. That's not how a comic book works.
Yeah, yeah. You didn't want the exposition to override the art, right, or the overall narrative.
Exactly. That's what the codex is for.
Yeah, and
the codex you get for free.
And I love Cerebus. I love what he did, and I love some of those works like Reed's that has huge pages of text and then the artwork. But I didn't want to do that, and I think he did it well for a guy pioneering it, but I don't think it was ultimately the best way to do things.
Yeah. I had forgotten about Cerebus, but you get a lot of text within an issue of that,
Well, you get a lot of text in a Marvel book now. It just sucks.
Yeah.
A bunch of talking heads that go nowhere.
Matt Wagner's Grendel did it much better.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Especially, was it Devil by the Deed, that first one he did?
Yeah, with all the black and white and red, pretty much.
Yeah, that was good.
The whole book. And
that read more like a French kind of like graphic novel than it did like an American comic.
Well, that's the thing about it, guys. You doing your own independent comic and stuff. Of course, we're not, part of the big two, right? But I would say really Dark Horse to a certain degree, maybe not as much now that they've lost a lot of their licensing, and Image have become more mainstream and less independent.
They're barely any different than Marvel or DC at this point. I would say Dark Horse still kind of has at least more of some sense of creator driven stuff. But man, it's just
Top Cow went down, didn't it? Didn't they go belly up?
Top Cow. I think Top Cow went under. IDW is all licensing stuff, and Image has all of the Skydance or whatever it's called. Skybound. That's all licensed properties now. And
well, here's the hard truth about that, and it's not it, but it shows how hard it is to do. The only legacy character that Image has is Spawn. Of all their work they have put out, they don't have any other character they can just keep printing like Spider-Man, and they did The Walking Dead, and now they kind of have Invincible. And they're just now doing that with Invincible, with like Battle Beast and this kind of stuff. But it's like, I know they came first, but like it is a testament to guys like Kirby that could pump out these classic characters. Because
iconic characters.
Yeah, people forget that they created way more than that, but 90% of them fell away and they didn't take off. But if you can create one, that's a masterpiece. However, those guys did it, Lee and Kirby, like That's impressive.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
It's like the Beatles.
And
It's hard to write a one-hit wonder, but to write entire albums of hits,
and I know their
Yeah.
worldview. They're. I mean, really, comics wouldn't be what they were if it weren't for the Jewish faith. I mean, there were a lot of Jews. I
Yeah.
mean, Superman, the creators, two young Jewish kids, Stan Lee himself, and Larry Liebert's his brother. I mean, they're Jewish.
You've got that mythological
Kirby was.
background.
Huh?
Yeah.
You've got that mythological background to go
Oh,
off
absolutely.
of.
Yeah, not just the Western Greek Hellenistic view of things, but also the ones that preceded that. Yeah, absolutely.
I think you have to have myth, man. I talk a lot about the Western canon, but I haven't put a dent in it. No one has like that. The Western canon is like what 5,000 plus works or more, and I forget who made a list of. Maybe it was William F. Buckley that made a list of it. And it's like you can't read that in a lifetime, but you have. I mean, it used to be my generation grew up with this free thinking, moving forward, progressive idea, and people still have it, and it's like. The only way to get forward is to look back. And the only way to get a new idea is to read old books.
Yeah.
People have built roads, and it's not smart to go into the woods and try to build a new road.
Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel when the wheel's already here.
Yeah, go forward.
You're wasting
with the
your
wheel.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's the same thing with art. I think you need to look at, study, and admire art because you can make something new once you do that. I think that you have to. I think art comes from the primordial chaos, mystery. But the only way to not because
and to somehow have order is kind of comforting.
Exactly, but you have to have enough order to go into that chaos and return with something. Otherwise, you dissipate, and that's what we've had in the modern West for like 80 years now of art. It's why it's trash. There is no order.
Well, see, to me, that's you're touching upon themes like almost, and I'd say this figuratively, like Pandora's box has been reopened, and hence that's the reason why my whole universe exists. It's that everything's in a chaotic, scrambled flux right now, and that's why a lot of this stuff, which seems improbable, is happening.
Yeah,
that ultimately though that's the first story. That's the oldest story. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And how is it described? It is formless, void. It's empty, chaotic waters. And then God is hovering above that and brings order to it. He creates light, separates light from dark, separates land from water, creates life in an order that can sustain more life, and then creates man and says, I'm giving you this to cultivate and rule over and subdue. It's both a challenge and a responsibility and a gift.
Right.
That's the oldest story is bringing chaos into order.
Yeah, it's the taming of the Leviathan. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think if you're not working to make something cool like that, if you're not, then I have a hard time caring. I think that's my most controversial statement in this space is I think people talk about drama and retreat to drama because there's not enough good stories to talk about and they need content. And either instead of finding good stories, they just resort to drama. Yeah. Because there's good stories.
Yeah, they exist.
You've got a wall of them behind you, Rex. Like,
yeah.
I've got these. Josh has his. Like, there's things people know and good and love, but that takes work to read and ingest and watch and synthesize into something cool. It's easier to just spout off crap.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to somehow have a hook. You got to get the persons engaged to try that, because you could do the masterpiece, but if it's hidden away in a cave and not shared with the world, it could be the best thing going, but it's never going to be recognized as that. It's never going to It has to be shared. It has to be
Yep.
experienced by others. That's what truly gives something validity. Not that just you created this better thing, but that other people actually use it in their daily lives.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
I know that sounds utilitarian, but you know, it
I
takes.
mean, why would we create
I mean,
something
I
that
as an
lacks
artist, I don't
utility
need
though?
validation, but at the same time, I do.
But I mean, why would we create something that has no utility for anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What would be the purpose of something that offers absolutely nothing
that's
and
German
requires
Godism.
nothing?
That's Godism, isn't it? Just
It is
Yeah,
a
yeah. Like
Dadaism.
what would
Yeah.
be the Dada? Yeah. Why would that be? That's not enough for me.
yeah,
No.
yeah,
That's not enough for me
That's
to build my life
self-indulgence.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And like you say, it's not. Adam didn't say, "Okay, I can sit back and relax now." No, he had a mandate, right, to go and tend
yeah.
the
You got work
garden.
to do, bro.
And
Mm-hmm.
You
you got
got
a
work to
work to
do.
do, right? You got a ministry before the fall ever happened. And when
Yeah,
they say, "Well, Adam, Eve ruined it for all of us," but the text says he was not afar off. He was
Yep.
not
yeah. He
very
was right
far
there.
away.
Well, and
Maybe
you can.
maybe if Adam should had better discernment, he could have seen some of this coming.
Well, and you say the word work. He had work to do, but a better word for that is he had purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, he had a purpose. Yeah, we all have a
Well,
purpose. Life is not
that's
meaningless.
actually something I explore and I did explore in Apollyon Volume 4 when it comes out. What's funny is tying into Tasteful Thickness. What happens in Paralandria, C.S. Lewis's work. He comes to the decision basically that Adam's job was probably to have killed the snake. Like
Hmm.
you don't enter a dialectic with a demonic force; you kill it.
Hmm.
You attack it, and that was Adam as head of the garden. The second that snake doubted God to his wife, he should have put it down, and
And
he
that's why
didn't.
we have the
Yep.
proto-evangelium of that one day the Messiah will crush the head of that serpent. It's because Jesus was a better Adam than the first Adam.
Yeah.
Right,
Jesus
right.
never enters dialectics with the devil. The devil tries to tempt him, and Jesus shuts it down every time.
Yeah, and temptation is not sin till it's acted on. You can
Yep.
be
Exactly.
tempted and not have to add in
Yep.
a sin. Temptation is going to come to
Well,
every
that's
individual.
that's another main idea in Kolga, particularly the writing she does, is she discovers the truth of their world, which is everything is power. So everything's a dialectic, everything's a circle. You can't get
Hmm.
out of it. If the second you enter into a dialogue with, even in your mind, with your own thoughts, with this being that calls itself God, you've already lost. The second you
Hmm.
enter into its world, you're done. And
Yeah.
that's why the phrase that they use and they implement into the system to get out is kill your thoughts. And there's a whole thing it's a nice thing to explore, but that's the whole thing, is she has realized this is a closed system, that if you enter into dialogue with it, or if you give it a foothold, you've already lost. You
And we're
can't
talking
play its
role
game.
models here. We're talking modern
Yep.
day mythology that we would all agree is important because, and the dynamic of leadership and the dynamic of power, as you were
Yep.
saying, like the staff of Moses being a very
Mm-hmm.
physical thing that has, or the hammer of Thor, or
Yeah.
the blade of Black Knight, or something like that, um, not just being a weapon, but being a thing of authority. And, um, leadership, is something that we're all, to be a leader, you have to be a servant. You have to have a higher authority under you. I have to be under authority to be in authority.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And that's
And
why a
the
lot of leaders don't get the
a
dynamic.
leader cannot lead without the mindset. Take that back. A good leader cannot do well without the mindset that I eat last. Everyone else eats first. I eat last.
Mhm.
I go home last. I'm the one that turns the lights off at the end of the day.
Yeah, here
And
first, last to
I'm
leave.
yeah, I'm here first. I'm the last one to leave. I'm the first one in the parking lot. And that's what a good leader does. Is I'm not going to ask you to do something that I haven't already done to
Right.
to
I
the
don't
best of my
expect you to
ability.
do something I haven't already set an example for.
And
Mm-hmm.
in the comments there, he was saying, purpose is hard, and whenever God asks you to do something, it's always going to be hard. But the reality is, when God says to Abraham, "Hey, sacrifice your son," he does that knowing that his son has been sacrificed since before
Mm-hmm.
since before time was
You get
created.
you get the first concept really of resurrection. That I
Yeah,
reckon
it's
that if
I'm
he's
never
going to
gonna.
ask me even something counter to his word, which he says don't
Mm-hmm.
do, which is
Yep.
sacrifice your young, which seems to be counter. I
Yeah, then
reckon
he
that
has
he
to
can
have a plan to
resurrect
give
my
him back.
son if
Yep.
he's the giver of life in the
Yeah, he
first
And
has to have a way to give him back, and
yep.
he's not asking
yeah.
me to do something that he's not willing to do
Again,
himself.
here's
Yep.
a leader of men, right? For
Mm-hmm.
many decades. But he has to be subservient to God if he's going to be
Yep.
put in that leadership role.
And in the inverse of that, we see it with Pharaoh and his hubris. Is
Mm-hmm.
the 10 plagues? The 9 other plagues are God destroying Egyptian gods.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep.
When it comes to Pharaoh, he treats him as God. He said,
Yeah,
"Okay,
like if you
if
want to
you
be
want to be
God,
God,
Because he was
this is
supposed to
the
be God on
price.
earth to the
Yep,
Egyptians.
if you're going to
yeah,
be
I'll
God,
treat you
I'm
like
taking your
God.
son because that's the price to be God,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the price God pays." And that's a powerful statement, and that's a powerful idea, and that's if you read. I mean, people read the Bible. God treats kings who claim to be God way worse
Oh, yeah.
than kings who worship other
And
gods.
it's not like the Ten Commandments movie. Pharaoh died with his troops at the Red Sea,
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
Red Sea. Yeah. We missed that. He actually, the text says he perished with his
mm-hmm,
army.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
There was a price for his hubris and his
mm-hmm,
Yeah, there always
constantly,
is.
yeah,
yep,
There
yeah,
always is.
yeah.
And I think that the idea that there's no cost, and that's where social media and things have ruined discourse because people realize, oh, I can hide behind a screen and there's no consequence to what I say anymore.
Right.
That's why I love having a face-to-face conversation, and I love talks like these because the stakes are different when you're looking someone in the eye.
Well, I
mm-hmm,
know that there's even on this, there's some people talking about some people that they're just gathering their case to take them to court. You
Oh
cannot
yeah,
get on here and just say anything and not expect
yeah.
repercussions.
There's always
Personal
there's always
responsibility is not
consequence.
being talked about long enough.
Even if the consequence is just the effect of the erosion it does to your soul
Mhm.
to
yep,
be that kind of person,
Sure.
you will
It
pay for it.
it's caustic.
Yeah,
It's like an acid that yeah, it's unsustainable, really.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get past it. There's no way. Well, I'll give you the final word, guys, on the book, and actually,
sure.
I want to hear from the writer because he's more wordy. He's he probably hadn't got the 30, 15, 30-second pitch down as well as you, Josh. I know you could do it in probably 15 seconds, but I want to hear from the writer
Elevator
who's here
pitch,
on this.
Dan.
Elevator
Elevator
pitch.
pitch.
All
Yeah,
right,
I want to see how well he does this.
all right. Biophile Kolga Volume 2. It's funding now on Kickstarter and funding my comic. We didn't do Indiegogo because they changed a bunch of stuff and made it impossible to work with.
Right.
The story follows Kolga Goldcoin, a heretic who violated the treaties and laws of this false god in her youth and has now been cursed with her youth again after a very long life. She is fighting witches, cults, hordes, old families. Everyone is coming after her for this eye that she has found, this magical artifact. I mean, there's no magic in our universe, but it might as well be magic. The technology is so advanced. The
Mm-hmm.
world that she helped build is now coming down around her, and she and her young Ward June are trying to survive while also keeping their souls intact. They are messing with things that no one should mess with. They're messing with godhood, and they are learning the hard way that you don't do that. No one else gets to do it either. And it's a character study. If you like, it's very much more of a manga type story than it is a comic story. We're taking our time. It's going to be about 5 or 6 volumes, and there's no story like it. If you enjoy mystery, if you enjoy noir, if you enjoy horror, there's also some humor in it. The same people that are the horror are the humor sometimes.
Mhm.
It's got everything. I would advise you to pick it up if you just like good stories for a good deal, or if you want the biggest, deepest indie comic work you're ever gonna find. Either way, go for it. We have the best prices in comics, not even indie comics, but in comics in general. Get about 500 pages for $60, or the digital catch-up tier for $20, and we will blow your mind. The last digital package we did on the last campaign was 5 gigs worth of stuff. This one's going to be even fatter than that.
And again, this is the last campaign, most likely, that we're going to be able to do this.
Yep.
It is going to stop being sustainable.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We don't want to charge
and the
people like
Kickstarter,
$100.
the Kickstarter's pretty much laid out like the Fund My Comic in a way, right? You got
same-
Yeah, it's
same
all
here.
it's same tiers, everything,
Yep, copy pasted.
same prices.
PDFs for all the
Yep.
categories, correct?
That's right.
Yep. And if we hit our goals, we'll go
Free
into
poster.
stretches and give you a free poster. And if we keep going, we'll throw even more free cool stuff at you. So
Over on Kickstarter, over on Fund My Comic, let's see the trailer once more. Wow.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I tell you what, after this interview, I want to talk about chaos theory and all this, with you more, because
I'd love to,
absolutely.
Rex.
Yeah, you could probably be very informative to me about, the future direction of what I'm trying to do, because this chaos is invented, be reintroduced in a sort of like second coming way into my universe, and it's really scrambled up things, and that's kind of the reason I can do with what I'm doing. Storytelling, even if it's antithetical to what I believe, my worldview, I still want to introduce it, for a time period within my universe, and explore those. So it's
that's the thing is, it being antithetical to your belief system that's fine. That's good as long as it's not presented as something that's glorified.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no problem showing the dark side. I mean, Lord, we talked about the Bible filled with darkness, filled with antithetical events and decisions and things. And just because it's descriptive doesn't mean it's prescriptive. So, but yeah, that would be a fun talk to have sometime soon, man. Tonight's been a lot of fun. I'm sleepy, but it's been a really good time.
Well, I wanted to give you, you got quite a timeline. I know we've explored that in the past, and I was very impressed with you. You guys know where you're going for the
we
foreseeable
appreciate you
future.
having us again, man.
Yeah,
and we always appreciate you.
Yeah, you need to hit us up more often, though.
We'll try to, man.
It's whenever I'm not busy.
Yeah, I know, but you guys are both well read, and you're grounded, you're centered, you seem like you're in a good place, and that you're not going anywhere anytime soon. And we can like we talked like comics for 15 minutes before you even got here, Dan. You know, come back and just talk comics with us sometimes, and then
Sure.
just the rest. If it seeps in, it
Sure
seeps
thing.
in. I mean,
Sounds good, man. I
Yeah, for
appreciate
sure.
it.
absolutely.
This was a lot of
And
fun.
I know
Yep.
Shadowhawk would have liked to have been here. Of course, he's got to go to work tomorrow, and
Shadowhawk keeps threatening to buy our books and never does.
really, I thought he actually
I
invested
don't
it.
know. I don't know his name.
He might have, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
Josh's
picking.
for sure.
He may have.
Okay.
I just pick at him.
I
Well-
don't dox backers.
Yeah. Well, have a Merry Christmas.
You
You
too,
know?
You too, man.
Both
You
of
too.
you. You have a Merry Christmas. And I hope you have great, keep us in your prayers. We try. I know you guys are out there chugging along, and we're all brothers, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's the only way to get, man.
We're all part of something greater than we could even fathom,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So just keep
Thanks for
digging,
having us,
guys.
Rex.
Yep.
You'll discover the answers. Hey, it was my pleasure. It always is.
Have a good
Bow
night,
for
Rex.
now. We'll keep collecting.